Hey guys, tonight we glide through myths older than your grandma's fruitcake, but twice as magical. Imagine slipping into silk pajama clouds as the moon winks, its craters forming a face that whispers, "Buckle up, buttercup." You're about to ride a horse starved for altitude, no pressure. So before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. Drop a comment with your location and local time. I'm weirdly into time zones. Now dim the lights. Maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum. And let's ease into tonight's journey together. Cool grass tickles your bare feet, each blade dewier than a teenager's poetry. Above, the Big Dipper tilts, spilling starlight like sugar across the velvet sky. A breeze hums through pine needles, playing a tune just shy of recognizable. Your breath fogs. It hangs midair, as if waiting for something. Then, the glow. It starts as a firefly's hiccup near the tree line. Brighter now, gold pooling like melted butter on shadow pancakes. Hooves strike earth, not the clop-clop of your cousin's ranch trip, but thunder wrapped in velvet. Muscles ripple under moonlit hide, each feather on those wings, a quill dipped in stardust. Pegasus doesn't land, he crystallizes from the night itself. You blink, suddenly nose to nostril, with a creature who reeks of ozone and old magic. His mane flickers, strands alternating between hair and comet trails. One hoof scrapes dirt, the ground shivers like gelatin. Historians still argue whether Bellerophon's famous ride was propaganda or a bad mushroom trip. Either way, tonight's insurance forms are not my problem. He snorts, your bangs flutter. The sound vibrates your molars. Yeah, hi, you squeak. Smooth, a wing dips, invitation clearer than your ex's breakup text. You scramble aboard, knees sinking into downy warmth. His shoulder blades shift. Suddenly you're 10 years old on a roller coaster's first drop. No one tells you Pegasus smells like a library fireplace, wood smoke, and parchment. Wind plucks at your hoodie strings, they whip your cheeks. Below, your house shrinks to a Lego piece beside the neighbor's aggressively green lawn flamingo. The first flap hits like a bass drop. Your stomach levitates somewhere near your sinuses. Clouds fray beneath you, cotton candy torn by a sugar-high kid. Pegasus banks left, you glimpse the Parthenon's skeleton, glowing faintly. Did you know its builders used horsehair in their mortar? True story. Less verified, the rumor that Alexander the Great kept a winged stallion locked in his basement. Your fingers cramp around feathers. They're warm as fresh bread. Stars smear into neon streaks. The night sky, now a drunk Van Gogh painting. Your ears pop, altitude hits like a PowerPoint lecture on elevator physics. Pegasus flicks an ear, the gesture somehow sarcastic. You're pretty sure he's smirking. A thermal lifts you, weightlessness steals your breath. For 3 heartbeats, you're floating, no saddle, no wings, just the moon's gravitational side-eye. Then reality slaps back, wind roaring in your ears like a pissed-off ocean. Something glints ahead, a plane's blinking lights. Pegasus veers hard right, you taste yesterday's oatmeal. The Boeing 747 passengers never glance up. One kid presses his nose to the window, you wave. His mother hands him an iPad. Higher now, the air's so thin, your lungs stage a union strike. Pegasus's wings carve spirals into the atmosphere, you're a freckle on God's. Etch a sketch. Antarctica stretches below, a vanilla sheet cake with jagged frosting mountains. A seal glances up its bark, gets vacuumed into the jet stream. Your thumbs ache from gripping. Should done those carpal tunnel exercises. A shudder runs through Pegasus. It starts at his withers and ripples back. His wings fold. Suddenly you're falling. Wind screams. Tears blur the Milky Way into a latte swirl. Your scream gets stolen, tossed into the ionosphere's junk drawer. The ground rushes up cities, now circuit boards, highways like glowing nematodes. Pegasus unfurls his wings with a sound like 1,000 umbrellas opening in reverse. The G-force plants your spine into the saddle. His laugh rumbles, low and tectonic. Asshole. He levels out, wingtips skimming a thunderhead's anvil top. Lightning webworks below indigo, fractals that smell of burnt hair. Raindrops freeze midair. Each one holds a flickering scene. A samurai meditates. A baker pulls croissants. Your third birthday party, dad's face, still pixelated at the edges. You reach for a droplet, it shatters into mist. The horizon bleeds, sunrise hues, peach, tangerine, the pink of healed scars. Pegasus slows his wing beats, syncing with your pulse. 10, 9, 8, the stars yawn, stretching lavender fingers across the dome. A yawn claws up your throat, part exhaustion, part enchantment, his feathers gray at the tips, fading like ink in milk. You pat his neck, heartache blooms beneath your ribs. The first birdsong trills, a chickadee practicing scales. Pegasus dissolves into vapor, leaving you kneeling in dewy grass. Your hands smell like thunderstorms and longing. Somewhere, a stable door creaks shut. The night air hums against your skin, thin and cool as cathedral glass. Pegasus banks left cloud strands unraveling beneath his wings like ribbon. You grip his mane. It feels like holding a waterfall made of silk. Below, earth shrinks into a shadow puzzle of hills and sleeping towns. Did you know ancient Greeks used these same stars to time crop harvests? One wrong twist of the Big Dipper boom. Everyone's eating turnips till spring. Cloud mist licks your ankles, then tears apart. Stars bloom overhead, so thick you could scoop them with both hands. That smudged curve, the keel of Argo, a ship constellation bigger than your doubts about online astrology. Historians still argue whether Babylonian priests or Sumerian poets first mapped these patterns. Meanwhile, Inuit storytellers saw a celestial walrus named Quipanukiak in those very dots, proving imagination's the real cosmic glue. Pegasus snorts, a sound like steam escaping a titanium kettle. His wings punch downward, you're weightless, for 3 heartbeats. Wind braids your hair into something a mermaid would envy. To your right, Orion flexes, his belt stars polished brighter than a Roman senator's ego. Ever notice how constellations are just connect the dots for insomniac shepherds, 7 sisters, more like 7 siblings who forgot to text back? Altitude sharpens the cold, each breath tastes of pine resin and forgotten ice ages. The horse's feathers ripple, a million moonlit fingers combing through goose down. Below, an aurora yawns, green ripples reflecting off Pegasus's wings like liquid jealousy. You spot the faint scar of the Milky Way. That's Earth's home galaxy, though technically it's more fixer-upper than celestial mansion. A shooting star streaks past. You make a wish before remembering they're just space rocks throwing tantrums. Pegasus chases it because even mythic steeds have bad habits. His wing beats sync with your eyelids. Each flap whispers, almost there, almost there. Above, Vega glows cobalt, a young star still insecure about its gravitational pull. Below, a cargo plane blinks red, some pilots nightly grind, intersecting your fairy tale. The horse dives into a cloud bank. Cotton vapor fills your mouth, your ears, your last coherent thought. You emerge drenched in starlight, every pore buzzing like a bee in a tulip. Pegasus levels out just as the moon peels free from Earth's shadow. Its craters stare back, pockmarked and unapologetic. Ever wonder why full moons make you want to howl or order takeout? Science blames circadian rhythms, but you know it's old wolf DNA singing in your marrow. Wings fold, you're gliding now, the silence so deep it rings. A satellite zips by, SpaceX's latest attempt to outshine the ancients. Somewhere down there, a grad student squints at Pluto through a telescope, its demotion to dwarf planet, still a sore topic at astronomy pubs. Up here, everything's classified as majestic or preposterous, no in between. Pegasus shudders, a feather drifts loose, dissolving into sparks before it passes your knee. His breath steams the air, each puff forms shapes like runes or cursive receipts. You lean until your cheek presses against his neck, warm as fresh-baked bread, if bread could ascend to heaven. The wind shifts. It carries a tune too faint to name, though your spine insists it's Queen's bohemian rhapsody filtered through a nebula. Star after star flickers its code, more signals for goosebumps and velvet. Your shoulders unhook from your ears, drop 1 inch, then 2. Pegasus noses through a constellation shaped like a poorly drawn giraffe, unofficial but undeniable. The horse's wings catch a thermal, you rise higher, dizzier, lighter. Below, the world's edges blur, continents softening into watercolor smudges. Above, the cosmos stretches wide, an uncapped jar of fireflies. A yawn cracks your jaw, you're sleepier than a sloth dipped in melatonin. Pegasus chuckles, or maybe it's just a muscle twitch. His wings carve slow spirals, the kind that lullaby your fight or flight reflex to sleep. You count heartbeats instead of sheep, 37, 38, 39, wait. Did you pay the electric bill? The thought evaporates, replaced by the scent of stardust and saddle soap. Moonlight stripes the horse's back, glowing bars that melt as you cross into shadow. Your fingers go numb in a good way, like finally unclenching after a lifetime of fists. Pegasus tilts, the horizon flips sideways, then rights itself. The world's a snow globe someone forgot to shake. Even your breath slows, drawn out to match the rhythm of tide-locked planets. One star winks, bright as a camera flash at a vampire prom. You blink, and suddenly Pegasus is descending, his wings glossed with frost and borrowed light. The horse snorts, ice crystals prism the air. You pocket one. It melts into mist before reaching your hip. Above, the Milky Way swirls its billions of suns, murmuring the same bedtime story in every language that ever was. Pegasus dips lower, wingtips skimming starlight, until it ripples like pond water. The Milky Way unravels beneath you, a spilled highway of glowing pebbles. You squint, there's Heracles mid-labor, his constellations straining under an invisible lion pelt. Historians agree the Nemean lion myth inspired Leo's star pattern, though some Inuit tailies claim it's a frozen seal named Kiviuk. The horse snorts, frost spirals off his muzzle, shaping Orion's belt for a split second. A breeze carries voices, or maybe the creak of ancient puppet strings. You spot Lyra's harp, its strings vibrating with a tune even Spotify can't algorithm. Strum me, it pleads, but nobody's falling for that since 300 BC. Below, Draco coils around Ursa Minor, dragon fangs glinting like half-chewed Christmas lights. Ever notice how zodiac memes never feature a fucus? 13th sign, energies too chaotic for Instagram grids. The horse banks sharply, your stomach flip-flops like a pancake at a circus. Andromeda's chained wrist flashes by her starry tears more dramatic than a Tudor breakup. Scholars still debate whether her myth began as a comet's origin story or a Bronze Age soap opera. To your left, Perseus hoists Medusa's head, its snake hair frozen mid-hiss. Fun fact, Gorgon blood birthed coral reefs, according to Ovid, though marine biologists remain unconvinced. Pegasus dives, wind steals your breath as you plunge through Cassiopeia's throne. Her constellation flickers, distorted like funhouse mirror royalty. Sirius blinks furiously in the distance, that overachiever still trying to outshine everyone. The Milky Way's river churns below, each wave a murmur of dead languages and unsent love letters. You scoop a handful, it slips through your fingers, leaving glitter on your palm. A shooting star zips past. Pegasus gives chase like a retriever after a tennis ball. His wings clip the edge of Aquarius. Water bearers, urn spills galaxies instead of H2O. Your cheeks sting from cold, or maybe stardust exfoliation. Ever wonder why ancient star maps smell like burnt sage? Monks used herb-infused ink to ward off comet-related panic. The horse levels out, sudden calm makes your ears pop. Cygnus glides overhead, wings spread wider than airport security lines. Its beak points toward Vega, astronomers' favorite study buddy, for finding alien radio signals. Spoiler, they've only found cosmic static and one suspicious polka song. Below, Scorpius flexes its claws, red heart pulsing like a nightclub's exit sign. Pegasus shivers, a feather spirals down, charring into ash before it hits Hydra's tail. Historians still argue whether Heracles fought the Nemean lion in Greece or Ethiopia. The horse seems Team Ethiopia. He sniffs southward like a bloodhound on a mythic cold case, yawn, jaw cracking loud enough to startle a nearby satellite. It zigzags away, flashing Morse code that probably translates to drama queen. The Pleiades cluster shimmers, 7 sisters huddled like influencers at a launch party. Their lights delayed by 444 years, so technically, you're seeing their Renaissance era glow. Pegasus drifts closer, his breath froths the stars into fizzy champagne bubbles. One pops, it smells like lavender and existential dread, but in a soothing way. Ursa Major lumbers across the north, her cubs trailing crumbs of blue-white light. Medieval farmers believed the Great Bear caused thunderstorms by swatting celestial beehives. Modern take, it's just an asterism, but try telling that to a tornado. Pegasus sneezes, the Big Dipper's handle rattles, spilling a few stars into your lap. They melt like snowflakes, cool against your palms. The horse descends further, his wing beats sync with your slowing pulse. Twin Gemini stars pulse overhead, Castor and Pollux arguing in ultraviolet flickers. You hum a lullaby, the notes warp, echoing back as Gregorian chant. A meteor shower begins, streaks of light scribbling graffiti across the stratosphere. Pegasus nickers. It's the sound of eyeballs rolling at humanity's discovery of wish-making rocks. Lyra's harp reappears, this time playing a tick-tock remix of Twinkle Twinkle. You mouth not my tempo. The constellation dims in embarrassment. Below, the Milky Way thickens, its whispers rising to murmured confessions. I stole my sister's hairpin in 802 AD. Forgot to feed the donkey. Loved a sailor who wasn't my husband. The horse flicks an ear, eavesdropping harder than a coffee shop barista. Cold seeps into your bones, a pleasant numbness like sinking into memory foam. Pegasus spirals downward, the stars smear into Van Gogh swirls. Someone's left a thermos of hot cocoa in Libra's scales, steam curling into equation symbols. You decline, hoofprints across the moon's cheese-like crust promise a softer landing. The horse snorts, his breath paints a final constellation in the dark. A dove carrying a zipped-lipped emoji. The world tilts, clouds rise to meet you like foam on a cappuccino. Pegasus flares his wings, frost shatters, raining diamonds that dissolve at your touch. Above, Heracles finally heaves the lion into place, its starry jaws frozen mid-roar. The Milky Way's whispers trail off, last words stolen, by a passing comet's solar wind. You touch down, hooves silent as moth wings against the waiting earth. Your boots sink into moss spongy and cool as refrigerated cake. Moonlight drips through ivy, transforming the temple into a chessboard of shadows. Columns loom, their grooves worn smooth by centuries of anxious whispers. You smell myrrh and damp stone, a combo worse than your gym locker post-Zumba. A warm breeze tugs you forward, ghost fingers clutching at your sleeves. Remember Delphi's oracle. This place makes that look like a mall psychic kiosk. Cracked steps rise, each one groaning under secrets heavier than a lawyer's divorce files. Your shadow stretches, elongated and wavering like a guilt trip made visible. The inner chamber exhales, air tickling your neck with promises it won't keep. Torchlight splutters, revealing walls carved with blindfolded muses and sphinxes playing charades. Historians agree priestesses here chewed laurel leaves to channel visions, or maybe they just had gnarly indigestion. Your foot kicks something, a clay shard etched with alpha gamma alpha pieta. Love, regret, ancient takeout order. Dust motes swirl, forming a face that mouths beware the seventh step. Too late, you're already on it. The floor hums, a bass note reverberating through your molars. To your left, a bronze bowl overflows with teeth, baby ones pearly and small as rice grains. Fun fact, parents left milk teeth here to buy divine dental plans. Modern insurance could never. Moonlight pools ahead, a silver puddle rippling despite stagnant air. You kneel, the reflection shows not your face, but a marketplace swarming with toga-clad Karens. A voice murmurs, every prophecy's just a conspiracy theory with better lighting. The image shatters, shards embedding in your palms without pain. A moth lands on your shoulder, its wings patterned with cursive script. You squint Aristotle's seventh draft on squid emotions. When you blink, it's just a moth again. Classic Baytan switch. Columns creak, adjusting their posture like jurors in a boring trial. Above, the roof's gone missing. Constellations squirm into new shapes like angry toddler etch-a-sketches. You spot the Aditon, the inner sanctum, where priestesses muttered through hemp smoke clouds. Historians still argue whether the sacred vapors were seismic gas vents or strong oregano tea. 3 clay tablets lie shattered, spelling out "Know thyself, JK." A 4th shard winks from the shadows, probably LOL, in linear B script. A chill crawls up your spine, the kind you get when Spotify shuffles to a song you prayed to forget. The air thickens, sweet as rotting peaches. Something brushes your ankle, a vine. Snake, forgotten gym membership receipt. Bronze tripods line the walls, their legs twisted into agony poses. Each holds a cold flame, blue as freezer burn, and twice as judgmental. Your torch dies, darkness wraps around you like wet linen. A child's laugh echoes, high-pitched enough to shatter wine glasses at a bridal shower. Pebbles skitter, forming arrows, pointing to a well hidden behind moth-eaten tapestries. You peer over the edge. Your own voice whispers up. Made you look. Starlight bleeds through cracks, revealing a mural of Cronus snacking on his kids. Cheery Dacre choice. Beneath it, a stone duct whispers like a seashell pressed to your ear. You catch phrases. Helmet filled with fig pudding. Tell Doris the darning needle is under. Classic sacred telegrams. A draft tickles your left ear. Someone's breath smells of honey and graveyard lichen. You'll dream of a goat wearing headphones. It warns. Before you ask clarifying questions, silence slams down like a library book drop. Footsteps approach, except they're barefoot and somehow sticky. You spin zilch. Just a mural of Apollo face-palming at a lyre with snapped strings. The ground rumbles. Tiles rearrange themselves into a hopscotch grid, leading deeper into gloom. You hop, each square flashing neon warnings. In ancient Cyrillic, warm liquid drips onto your head. You pray it's water. The smell of attic-aged Cabernet says otherwise. Above, a leaky amphora sways, its stopper chewed by something with very sharp opinions. You duck, wine splatters a mosaic of Zeus mid-transformation. Swan feathers, now stained Merlot, a downgrade even for him. To your right, a stone hand protrudes from the wall, clutching a scroll. You tug, it disintegrates into confetti-sized curses. 23 languages, all variations of "you're the reason we can't have nice things." A cricket chirps the melody to "Oops, I did it again" from somewhere dark. Solidarity, little dude. The hopscotch path ends at a stone door, carved with 100 keyholes and 0 keys. Your pocket jingles. When did you grab those drachmas? Each coin fits a different hole, playing musical chairs with your dwindling sanity. The 7th slot clicks. Hinges scream like a choir of dragged cats. Inside, a single olive tree grows upside down from the ceiling. Roots dangle, brushing your head with the tenderness of a dentist's drill. Black fruits glisten, each pulsing with bioluminescent guilt. You pocket one. It hums Claire de Lune off-key. Perfect for future awkward silences. Beneath the tree, a stone slab holds a feather, a rusty bell, and a papyrus note. The ink's fresh, it reads, "Tell no one," followed by a smiley face. You sneeze, the feather levitates, tickling your nose until you snort laugh. The bell rings once, a sound felt in your fillings, not your ears. Shadows congeal into a figure, or maybe 7 figures holding very still. Their eyes reflect starlight, arranged like the Big Dipper's spiteful cousin. One opens its mouth. A goat bleats outside. The vision implodes with a wet pop. Dawn bleeds through cracks. Pigeons roost where gods once eavesdropped. You exit, the door now a solid wall scribbled with modern graffiti. Jason was here, carved inside a heart. Some questions are better left unanswered. The temple exhales, releasing you into peach-colored morning light. Your shadow walks 3 steps ahead, refusing eye contact. Birds argue in ancient Greek dialect, something about stolen breadcrumbs and mortal incompetence. You check your palm. The prophecy tattoo reads BRB in smudged cuneiform. A cicada shell clings to your sleeve, its hollow body buzzing with departed dreams. You flick it off, it spirals into the dry grass, rattling secrets you'll misplace by breakfast. The desert exhales its breath sour with fermented grains and sun-baked limestone. Moonlight carves the dunes into frozen waves, each crest razor sharp enough to slice through time itself. Your shadow stretches long and thin as a hieroglyph spelling bewildered tourist. Sand whispers beneath your feet, thousands of quartz grains gossiping about who walked here last. Spoiler, it wasn't you. Ahead, the Sphinx lounges like a house cat made of geological grudges. Its missing nose gives it permanent side-eye, a mood you last felt during tax season. Historians still argue whether Napoleon's troops shot it off or if desert winds sanded it down over centuries. Pro tip: never play pin the tail on the monument with conquering armies. The dunes shift, revealing steps carved into a pyramid's flank. Each block weighs more than your student loan regret. Warmth radiates from the stones, the day's heat stored like a battery. Workers once clambered these slopes, paid in bread and beer for their backbreaking labor. Modern unions would riot, but hey, free carbs. Your toe stubs against something, a faience shard glazed in lotus blue. Hieroglyphs dance under moonlight. A duck, an arm, a squiggly line that might represent water or colic. Translation apps fail here. A scarab scuttles past, its shell gleaming like a cursed gumball. Step lightly. Egyptian dung beetles take their recycling duties very seriously. Wind sculpts the sand around you, forming walls of a phantom palace. Pillars rise and crumble in minutes, architecture with the commitment issues of a Tinder date. You spot a faded mural, Nefertiti side-eyeing a scribe botching her eyeliner. Her coal-striped gaze follows you, judging your life choices across 3 millennia. The air smells of myrrh and crushed coriander, an ancient air freshener combo. A vendor's ghost shouts offers, papyrus scrolls, lucky amulets, honey-based hair gel for that fresh pharaoh bounce. Turns out self-adornment oils predate shampoo commercials by, well, forever. Moonlit shadows reveal a tomb entrance, its lintel carved with coiled serpents and bored bureaucrats. Stale air wafts out, carrying the tang of mummification resins and disappointment. Torchlight flickers, your reflection warps in a bronze mirror etched with protective spells. Forged to repel evil, but does it work on X's? Asking for a friend, you descend, steps worn concave by sandals and existential dread. The walls whisper in demotic script, beware the cheese. Valid advice in any era. Bats flutter past, their wings rustling like crumbling tax records. A mummified cat sprawls in an alcove, scoffing at your modern obsession with unboxing videos. A burial chamber yawns open, its ceiling painted with constellations misaligned by procession. The dipper now looks like a bent coat hanger. A sarcophagus lid lies askew. Someone left in a hurry or forgot to grease the stone rollers. Inside, linen wrappings unravel like a retail worker's patience on Black Friday. Something glints in the resin-coated dust, a golden finger casing meant to protect royalty in the afterlife. You bend closer, it's sized for a pinky. Even eternal rest requires a manicure, apparently. Shadows coagulate into a jackal-headed figure, leaning against a pillar. Anubis, scrolling a Ptolemaic-era spam scroll. Another mortal, he growls, voice like gravel rolling downhill. Here for the selfie or the existential crisis. His ears twitch, half listening for heartbeats to weigh against ostrich feathers. You suddenly regret that third latte. Sand trickles from the ceiling, forming an hourglass neither of you acknowledge. Anubis sniffs your wrist. You reek of sunscreen and Wi-Fi signals. The underworld hasn't upgraded to 5G yet. Come back in a century. His tail flicks, dismissing you toward a side tunnel where torchlight pulses like a weak Wi-Fi signal. The passage opens into a moonlit courtyard, palm fronds hissing above a dried-up fountain. A limestone tablet lists market prices. 10 figs for sandal repair. 20 for a guaranteed love potion. Inflation hit hard after the Roman takeover. A fragmented statue stares with one remaining eye, Ramses' eye's granite bicep, flexing for eternity. Tourists chipped off souvenirs. A vandalism habit older than the concept of don't touch the art. Pocketing that seashell earlier feels tame by comparison. The Sphinx's chuckle rumbles underground, its stone diaphragm vibrating through the chambers. All riddles boil down to pay attention or stop digging up our stuff. Wind reshapes the dunes above, burying tonight's footprints beneath layers of tomorrow's archaeological puzzles. Dawn bleeds gold at the horizon. The desert exhales you back into the present. Your pockets jingle with ancient pocket lint and a scarab-shaped USB drive you'll discover weeks later. The Sphinx's silhouette blurs, its smile now secreting a smidge of approval or indigestion. Salt stings your lips, the Mediterranean's cheeky welcome as you plunge beneath moonlit waves. Turquoise ripples warp your fingertips, skin blurring like melted stained glass. Schools of parrotfish scatter their neon scales, mimicking traffic lights in a city that hasn't existed for millennia. You sink deeper, pressure hugging your ribs like an overzealous ant. Spiraled towers erupt from the seabed, their curves crusted with brain coral and stubborn barnacles. Historians still argue whether Plato's Atlantis sank in a day or limped underwater for centuries, clogging drains with its hubris. Bronze gears protrude from the sand, ancient cogs fused into coral bracelets by patient tides. One resembles your smartwatch. If your smartwatch worshipped Poseidon and tracked oceanic wrath levels, a jellyfish pulses past, its bell glowing with bioluminescent graffiti. Atlantean street art, maybe. Faded mosaics depict merfolk riding seahorses through bubble-columned boulevards. Their eyes follow you, judging your inefficient breaststroke. Something clinks underfoot. A clay tablet etched with spiral script. Experts think they used squid ink for official documents, fancy paperwork that dissolved if you cried during tax season. The current tugs you toward a vaulted archway, its keystone carved with tridents and triangle-headed serpents. Water murmurs through crevices, or is that laughter? The ruins hum, vibrations thrumming through your molars like a subaquatic bass drop. You half expect a clam to open, revealing a DJ spinning whale song remixes. A cracked amphora spills silver coins across the sand, each stamped with a owl-eyed queen. Her profile's eroded, leaving her perpetually mid-sneeze. Quirky tidbit. Fringe theorists claim Atlantis powered streetlights with captive anglerfish. The soggy truth. They just really liked holding lantern parties. Columns loom, encrusted with enough oysters to bankrupt a Michelin-starred restaurant. Your shadow dances across a sunken plaza where eels slither through chariot ruts. Rough translation of the nearby plaque. No parking during tsunami drills. A cracked hourglass lies buried nearby, sand replaced by hermit crabs treating it as timeshare housing. Something brushes your ankle, a seaweed strand, or the ghost of a very bored kraken. You kick instinctively, dislodging a marble slab. It crashes downward, revealing a tunnel glittering with abalone shells. The walls pulse faintly, bioluminescent algae spelling out what might be emergency exit signs or seafood restaurant menus. A statue's hand emerges from the murk, its fingers outstretched in a combo wave backhanded compliment. The face, eaten by parrotfish long ago. Vines of kelp braid through its hair, nature's passive-aggressive takeover. Modern cities will look like this someday. Just swap coral for rogue ivy swallowing parking meters. Your lungs tighten, that universal, maybe surface now nudge. One last glance reveals a mosaic floor, dolphins leaping over a city crowned in ice. Wait, ice. Plato never mentioned frigid suburbs. Maybe Atlantis had timeshares in Antarctica, real estate secrets buried deeper than the ruins themselves. You rise, legs scissoring through water now thick as chilled syrup. Sunlight fractures above liquid gold, shattered by the surface tension. A sea turtle glides past, shell plastered with remora hitchhickers. It gives you a look that says air breathers amorite, before vanishing into the blue. Breaking the surface, you suck in air that tastes of salt and unresolved mysteries. The Coast Guard boat's distant horn blares, a reality check wrapped in maritime law. Treading water, you spot a barnacle on your wrist. Its tiny ridges echo the spiral towers below. Atlantis winks up through the waves, or maybe that's just a reflective fish watching you dog paddle toward shore. Damp clothes cling like a second skin as you trudge ashore, each step squelching with seaweed and lingering disbelief. Above, the aurora borealis ripples, chartreuse tendrils guiding you inland. Frost nips your ears, a sharp contrast to Atlantis's briny embrace. The landscape shifts, black pines yielding to a plateau where winged shadows slump against moss-cushioned boulders. 12 figures rest in a circle, their breastplates dimmed by centuries of peace. Valkyries, though you've seen livelier ones in binge-watched Norse dramas. Moonlight glints on a discarded helmet, currently moonlighting as a birdbath. One warrior snores, a reverberation like distant thunder, trapped in a snuff box. Historians still argue whether Viking shield maidens earned their place here, or if Odin played favorites with resumes. You sidestep a spear-planted blade up, its shaft sprouting bioluminescent mushrooms. Nearby, a winged mare nibbles lichen off a tombstone. Her mane braids itself midair, a real-time tutorial for overwhelmed influencers. The Valkyries' shields lean in a stack, humming faintly. Lean closer, they're vibrating to the tune of Seven Nation Army. Artifact or Afterlife's Bluetooth speaker. A feather drifts down, the veins etched with minuscule runes. Quirky tidbit, a 12th century Swedish runestone shows a Valkyrie holding what fringe blogs insist is a Bluetooth device. Coincidence? Or proof of Norse tech support? You pocket the feather, it smells of campfire smoke and peppermint dental floss. The warriors stir, one scratching her ribs through chainmail. Her shield slips, revealing a doodle of Thor as a stick figure. Classic troop morale booster. 3 others share a wineskin, mead dribbling into a crack that's birthed an entire ecosystem of thirsty moss. Their snores sink into a Gregorian chant, bedtime hymns for the battle-weary. Northern lights reflected in a rainwater puddle, you glimpse a face that isn't yours. A woman with braids coiled like siege engines' mouths scowl before dissolving into algae confetti. Your boot dislodges a soapstone carving, 2 hands clasping around. Is that a PlayStation controller? Academics call it a symbolic oath. Gamers know better. A birch tree grows through a splintered longship, its trunk warped around the hull's skeletal remains. Carved into the keel. When the elves revolt, don't at me. Prophetic graffiti or Viking dad joke. Wind whistles through oar holes, a lament for rowdier days. You press your palm to the wood. It thrums with the memory of oars slicing frozen fjords. Something warm drips on your neck. Up in the branches, a raven regurgitates half-digested battlefield fries. It croaks what might be Old Norse for tip your server. Above, the aurora pulses faster, nature's nightclub mode activating. The Valkyries groan in unison, flipping their shields over like grumpy teens, hiding under pillows. By a cairn of rusted swords, a stone lid lies askew. Inside, moth-eaten cloaks and a tub of fermented shark residue. Preservationists would faint. Archaeologists would Instagram it. You pocket a tarnished button. Its inscription reads "Wash before Valhalla." The air shivers, or maybe that's just you realizing ravens have surrounded the clearing. One Valkyrie sits upright, her yawn could power a small wind turbine. She blinks at you, gesturing toward the horizon where dawn licks the sky. Her finger traces a route through the stars, or maybe She's just swiping left on the afterlife. You back away slowly, crunching a discarded chicken bone from some forgotten feast. The northern lights dim green fire, receding into grayscale static. A final feather spirals into your open hand and bursts into dandelion fluff. Somewhere, a mare whinnies, a sound halfway between laughter and a battle cry. The ground feels warmer now, as if the earth itself absorbed their lingering defiance. Your fist unclenches, revealing ash that smells suspiciously of IKEA meatballs. Last night's dinner, or a deity's inside joke. The ravens scatter, wingbeats echoing your own hurried retreat. Behind you, shields clang one last time, less a warning than a cosmic don't forget to tip your Uber driver. The ravens, wingbeats fade, replaced by a low hum vibrating in your molars. Dawn bleeds across the sky, but the light feels wrong. Too gold, too warm for these northern wilds. Your boots sink, not into snow, but something spongy and yielding. You glance down, grass has become a carpet of petals. Each unfurls like a fist, unclenching, revealing pooled sunlight that drips down their veins. Egyptians called the blue lotus session. Priests steeped it in wine for visions. These ones, they're serving straight euphoria. Breathe in honey-thick air coats your throat. Your shoulders drop as if the flowers siphoned your tensions into their gilded stems. A petal brushes your ankle and dissolves. Historians still argue whether temple carvings show lotuses as divine symbols or Bronze Age mood enhancers. You wade deeper, the blossoms rising to your hips. Their centers pulse, tiny metronomes synced to your heart. Something glints ahead, a stone basin caked in pollen. Peer closer. It's a birdbath turned koi pond, minus the koi. Golden fish dart through liquid light, their scales etched with hieroglyphs. One nibbles your fingertip. It tastes like buttered toast and forgiveness. The ground shivers. Petals swirl into a tornado of Van Gogh yellows, spinning apart to reveal a pavilion. Its columns sag, overgrown with vines that sprout opera glasses and USB dongles. Inside, cushioned benches shaped like open palms. Sit, and they curl around you, Egyptian king meets memory foam. A teapot materializes, steam curling into the lotus and anarchy symbol. Quirky tidbit. Victorian ladies steamed their faces with lotus tea, believing it erased promiscuous freckles. You pour a cup, it's mint chocolate chip flavored. The floral patterns on the china, they're moving. A tiny Nefertiti scowls as her headdress gets nibbled by animated beetles. Pinpricks dance across your skin. The basin's fish leap skyward, transforming into hummingbirds mid-arc. They hover, blink at you, then dive bomb the nearest blossoms. Pollen puffs explode, each burst releasing a microdiorama. Pharaohs skateboarding through Karnak. Scholars debating pineapple on pizza at Alexandria's library. Your cup refills itself, this time with liquid marshmallow. The pavilion's roof retracts. If retracts means dissolves into floating Toblerone triangles. Above, a second sun pulses its surface swirling with caramelized edges. Stare too long, and your retinas start humming Bohemian Rhapsody. Something tugs your sleeve. A lotus stem has twined around your wrist, its touch cool as subway tiles in July. It tugs again, leading you toward a willow whose branches droop with seed pods. Press one, it pops open, releasing a miniature concert hall. Inside, beetles play lullabies on cicada shell violins. Footprints appear in the pollen ahead, bare feet crusted in henna and Nutella. They lead to a hammock woven from rainbows and existential dread. Lie back, it conforms to your spine like a procrastination promise. Petals spiral downward, each depositing a droplet of sun onto your tongue. The air shimmers, a heat mirage resolving into a market stall. Merchants hawk lotus-scented ransomware and authentic curses from the 12th dynasty. A scarab beetle offers free teeth whitening, its brochure printed on papyrus made from canceled student loans. You sneeze, the blast scattering pollen into a city skyline. Skyscrapers etched with lotus motifs, escalators leading to rooftop oases, highways looping like endless game of snake. A taxi honks, its driver a disgruntled baboon smoking clove cigarettes. The vision fades, leaving only your hand curled around a seed pod. Crack it open, out slides a papyrus receipt. One eternity lightly used. No returns. Balance due. 17 minutes of forgiveness. Dawn's gold dims to eggshell white. Petals wilt, their liquid light draining into the soil. The pavilion creaks, benches melting into dandelion clocks. That marshmallow tea now tastes like lukewarm tap water and introspection. You pocket a final petal, it crumbles immediately. Behind you, the willow sighs, its beetle orchestra switching to a wheezy rendition of Hit the Road, Jack. Pollen coats your clothes. It'll take 7 washes to remove, or one really convincing dry cleaner. The horizon flattens, rose gold bleeding into boring old blue. A fish plops back into the basin, now just water, and a Zen garden for beginners kit. Birdsong returns ordinary sparrows, judging your life choices. Your shadow stretches northward, pointing toward peaks shaped like clenched teeth. A petal sticks to your heel, glowing faintly. It whispers 3 words before dissolving. Or maybe that's just the sleep deprivation talking. Marble cools your palms, veined with gold, like a map of her lost kingdom. The balcony juts over sands, tinged blue by moonlight. Or is that crushed lapis lazuli, Cleopatra, the VII, if we're being formal, ruled Egypt while speaking 9 languages fluently? Tonight, her Greek lullaby loops in fragments, carried by date palms whose fronds twist into sheet music. A wine stain mars the balustrade, pomegranate dark, still sticky after 2 millennia. Quirky tidbit, her signature scent allegedly mixed fermented crocus oil with cinnamon, a recipe that made Roman senators weep like scorned baboons. Plutarch's words, not yours. Breathe in Hints of spiced resin cling to the air, and faintly, gunpowder. A lyre leans against a sundial, its strings strung with cobwebs and ennui. Pluck one. It vibrates with a chord, neither major nor minor. Historians still argue whether she composed actual melodies or just hired really persuasive bards. A draft tugs your sleeve, guiding you toward a mosaic of her face. One eye winks, but the tiles rearrange mid-blink. Now it's grumpy cat. The lullaby shifts key notes skittering up your spine like a caffeine tremor. You follow them into a courtyard where moonlight puddles silver on sandstone. A fountain gurgles, its basin choked with papyrus scraps. Unroll one. Antony owes 300 drachmas for oysters, plus emoji of squid. A half-empty goblet sits on a bench, dregs thickened to tar. Sip it, damn. That's motor oil Merlot with notes of existential regret. Shadows coil around a fig tree, wrestling themselves into shapes. A warship, a asp, a tick-tock dance gone wrong. The song crescendos near a silk-draped archway. Push through and face her sneakiest portrait. No nose, no sphinx, just oils smeared like a toddler's finger paint project. Lean closer, the pigments shimmer, rearranging into a selfie of you holding a world's okayest time traveler mug. A child's sandal rests near a brazier, straps frayed, sole worn thin. Tie it to your belt, why not? Instantly, hieroglyphs tattoo your forearm, property of Ptolemy XIII. Return or face roach curse. The breeze dies, palms freeze mid-rustle. Even the fountain holds its breath. 3 notes hang unresolved in the air: D sharp, F something quarter tone. You hum the next one, and the ground bucks like a camel in a mosh pit. Tiles flip, revealing a hidden pool where eels dart through submerged scrolls. One surfaces. It's a Yelp review for Alexandria's library. No restrooms. Owls ate my pita. Starlight sharpens. The balcony's marble cracking like spine bones. Those veins start oozing caramel. Lick it, yeah, caramel. Cleopatra's face ripples in the mosaic, mouthing words that taste of salt and myrrh. The song isn't unfinished. She seems to say, "You're just listening halfway." Shadows stretch, pooling into a silhouette that sways toward the Nile's distant glitter. The lyre strings snap, each recoil sounding suspiciously like a rubber chicken. Your stolen sandal crumbles, along with the roach curse, thankfully. Last note fades, replaced by donkey brays from the docks. Sour, but real. Dawn licks the horizon, blue leaching from the sands. Your goblet's now a clay shard, your forearm hieroglyph-free. Pocket the papyrus IOU. Antony's debts might be collectible in the afterlife. As you turn, a final whisper. The quarter tone finds its resolution in the snore of a sphinx napping behind the fig tree. The sphinx's snore vibrates through your ribs, a bass note shaking fig seeds from their pods. They hit the sand and sprout into jagged peaks that pierce the clouds. Emerald slopes unfurl beneath you, valleys deep enough to swallow cathedrals. Leathern wings blot out the moon Each flap smells of burning frankincense and library dust. That's not a dragon. That's a Boeing 747 cosplaying as a wyvern. Mainstream fact: medieval knights once displayed dragon bones in town squares, actually woolly mammoth fossils. Your ride banks left claws glinting like oil-slicked daggers. Wind scream whispers forgotten names. Attila Smog Mushu from the Disney menu screen. You grip a spine plate cold as a Viking's dental filling. Quirky tidbit: Norse raiders carved dragon heads onto their ships solely to panic coastal monks. The tactic worked chronicles describe fire-breathing sea serpents sinking entire fleets of fishing boats. Clouds part, revealing a fortress fused to the mountainside. Arrow slits glow faintly until you realize they're actually dragon nostrils. One snort launches a sheep into orbit, its bleat Dopplering into silence. Historians still argue whether these myths grew from fear or a genetic memory of T-Rex ancestors. Wing beats slow, you glide over a river, reflecting bioluminescent trout. Each ripple paints your face in cyan and doubt. Ever wonder why dragons hoard gold? The wind mutters. Compound interest was trickier before banks. A scaled flank brushes a pine tree, it crystallizes into emerald. Pocket a twig, it thrums like a plucked guitar string. Something plummets past, a falling star. No, just the dragon's shed claw sheath. It hits a meadow, explodes into a geyser of marigold pollen. Breathe in tastes like a chai latte brewed by overachieving monks. The valley floor pulses, gemstones rising like bread dough. Stab one with your shoelace. It hardens into a crown equally tacky and priceless. Moonlight fractures through diamond wing membranes, projecting a disco ball's worth of speckles. Your shadow grows fangs, then tentacles, then a passable Elon Musk side profile. The dragon huffs, translating to, keep the memes to yourself, mortal. A cave yawns ahead, its ceiling strung with stalactite chandeliers. Inside, treasure chests overflowing with tax receipts and novelty mugs. One scroll reads Dragon Sanctuary HOA rules. No flaming after 8 p.m. A quill levitates, beckoning you to initial clause 4B. No resurrecting St. George. Suddenly freefall. The dragon rolls midair like a dog, avoiding a bath. Your stomach orbits your spleen, then returns with baggage fees. Ground rushes up, a mosaic of clover and danger. At the last second, wings snap open, silk sheets yanked taut by a prankster god. Mountain monks stare from a rope bridge. Their chants stutter, seeing you wave with the hand, still clutching marigold pollen. One drops his meditation beads. They roll downhill, triggering an avalanche of loose change. The dragon yawns, revealing a tongue scaled with Celtic knots. Touch one. It whispers Netflix spoilers for shows not yet written. Darkness swallows the eastern horizon, not night, but the dragon's twin circling for a showdown. Their roar cracks a glacier in half vodka tonic ice cubes, tumbling into the abyss. Your mount's claws flex, retracting like seatbelt buckles mid-turbulence. 3 feathers drift from its wing, each a celluloid film strip of battles fought in silent film gray. Catch one. It plays a scene of knights tripping over their own armor. The moral: never charge uphill in roller skates. Cliffs flatten into plateaus scattered with stone game boards. Dragon chess pieces tower 20 feet tall. The king wears a bike helmet. Make your move. Push a pawn. It grimaces, then moonwalks to e5. The dragon's tail flicks. Checkmate in 3 moves, or breakfast. Sunlight bleeds through a distant pass, the signal to retreat. Your steed banks toward a cloud shaped like Danielle Steele's signature. Below, villagers ooh at the spectacle. While secretly relief sweating, you didn't ignite their haystacks. Fog thickens, nesting around you like cotton candy, spun by a cynic. The dragon dissolves first, wings becoming mist, claws mere raindrops. Your boots hit moss, vibrant enough to shame skittles. That crown, back to a twig. That tax scroll, now a grocery list. Milk, mothballs, apocalypse insurance. Overhead, stars rearrange, forming a disappointed face. It's St. George's constellation sulking since the HOA banned lances. You shrug, pointing to the dragon-shaped cloud, winking near Orion's sword. The night exhales, and somewhere, a monastery gong tolls for the hell of it. The monastery gong's echo fades, replaced by flapping canvas above market stalls, older than algebra. Tattered awnings sag, their patterns erased by centuries of indecisive weather. You smell cardamom and regret, plus a whiff of industrial-strength lavender from a confessional booth. A merchant waves, his fingers glitter with rings that hum show tunes. Behind him, shelves sagging under lightly used pacts with the devil, all sales final. Mainstream fact: Renaissance fairs sold love filters, which were 97% wine and 3% delusion. His neighbor hawks hourglasses, leaking blue sand, each labeled best before. 1066 AD. You pause at a stall draped in moth-eaten velvet. The owner, a woman with hair like unraveled piano wire, blows dust off a music box. Its tune emerges, the same 4 notes your grandfather's watch played before he vanished. Quirky tidbit: Victorian seances often featured spirit music boxes, usually operated by bored younger sisters under tables. Coins clink into her palm, ancient denominations. Your pretty sure spell, sucker, in Atlantean. The box releases a final chime. Your 3rd grade birthday party flashes behind your eyelids. Blow out the candles. Dad's face still blurred at the edges. Stalls blur into a maze of twilight commerce. Ahead, a tent overflowing with wishbones. Some gleam gold, others smolder like charcoal briquettes. Pick wisely, croaks a parrot with a philosopher's squint. The fresh ones give better odds, but antique curses have panache. A child tugs your sleeve, offering a coral-encrusted flashlight. Switch it on. The beam projects your shadow as a hatchet-wielding marionette. History's unsolicited commentary. Toss it back. It transforms midair into a plush giraffe. The kid shrugs. This happens. You pass an auction for expired miracles. Bidding wars erupt over a lantern housing a drowsy djinn. 12 camels, shouts a man in chainmail pajamas. The genie yawns, spewing smoke rings that form the words out of office. At the bazaar's heart spins a carousel, horses carved from treaty signings and broken vows. Mount 1, its saddle squeaks prophecies in Morse code. A nearby vendor sells translating earrings, but they only speak in haiku. The wind shifts, carrying burnt parchment and a familiar melody. That music box tune again, now piping from a stall hung with antique keys. The shopkeeper, a spectacled tortoise, nudges forward a rusted typewriter key labeled backspace. Press it, the air ripples like a misremembered dream. Somewhere, St. George's constellation grumbles, its spear tip poking through a cloud. You pocket the key, feeling its teeth nibble your fingertips. Classic buyer's remorse. A commotion erupts. Merchants scramble as a wagon of bottled size capsizes. Laughter gasps and funeral weeps flood the aisles. Step carefully. A sob puddle could drown you in someone else's divorce. You barter with a cobbler selling boots that moonwalk involuntarily. His price, the memory of your first lie. Counteroffer, that time you fake laughed at your boss's Hamlet tattoo. Deal. The soul's hiss, already gossiping about your arch support needs. Dusk deepens, lanterns awake, as jarred fireflies stage a union strike. Their light dims whenever someone mentions Paganini's violin teacher. Quirk metafiction. Historians still argue whether Atlantis sank, or just downscaled to a pop-up flea market like this. The tortoise slams its shutters, taking 70% of the puns with it. The music box quits abruptly, its gears clogged with the lint of abandoned resolutions. You exit past a guard checking receipts, which crumble to ash at a touch. Roadside torches bow, exhausted fire demons catching a smoke break. One whispers advice: never gift a dragon scented candles. Above, the Pegasus constellation flicks its mane, freeing stardust that settles in your lungs like forgotten lyrics. The bazaar's cacophony fades, replaced by a lullaby hummed in reverse. Your new boots click a Morse code reply. Sleep now, the warranties expire at dawn. The path dissolves beneath you, pebbles transmuting into ivory codex pages. Their edges curl, revealing equations written in squid ink decimals. Ahead, a spiral staircase floating above an abyss of graph paper. Each step glows with numerals, golden ratios that tickle your soles through worn-out boot leather. Wind plucks at your sleeves. It carries the zesty tang of lemon groves and the musk of vellum. You recognize Fibonacci's spirals from math class doodles, though your teacher never mentioned they'd smell like a Sicilian summer. Mainstream fact: olden mathematician Fibonacci brought the sequence to Europe via trades with Maghreb merchants who'd memorized Indian algorithms. His Liber Abaci became the medieval influencer's guide to getting rich or dying trying. The seashell materializes midair, chambers unfolding like God's own nautilus. Its curves whisper, a rhythm 2 heartbeats stacked atop 3, 5, 8. Numbers strung into lullabies touch the ridges. They vibrate with the same frequency as a yawn traveling through a cathedral. Quirky tidbit: Benedictine monks once meditated with conch shells, claiming their spirals unlocked arithmetic visions. Church authorities banned the practice post-haste. Apparently counting sheep is holier. You press your ear to the shell's aperture. Instead of ocean roar, the hum of a loom weaving golden threads through time's fabric. A voice murmurs equations, Pythagoras' theorem mashed up with a Taylor Swift chorus. 1 migraine later, you realize it's calculating pi to the rhythm of your breaths. Staircase steps realign, forming a bridge across the void. Your boots sink into numerals. They squish like overripe plums. A misstep sends you lurching. 3-digit primes cascade into the abyss. Looks like someone skipped leg day, sneers the shell. You swat it. The damn thing dodges with Fibonacci precision. Shadows congeal into a chalkboard, its surface crawling, with proofs erased from history. Here lies Zeno's lost treatise on naps there. Newton's doodles of apple-flavored comets. Historians still argue whether Fibonacci stole his sequence from ancient Tamil texts or just gave it better PR. The chalkboard shudders. Dust motes rearrange into a winking emoji. Academia's darkest hour. Light fractures through the shell's chambers, projecting kaleidoscope patterns on your eyelids. Each refraction solves a calculus problem you've pretended to forget. The air thickens, saturated with theorems about pillow density and optimal nap angles. You inhale deeply, theorems settling into your marrow as instinct, not intellect. A desk materializes, quill poised above parchment, marked property of alkahwarisme. The nib writes autonomously, scratching out based and pickup lines. Are you a quadratic equation? Because you've got 2 solutions, and one's imaginary. Groan. The shell snickers, its spirals now shaped like middle finger fractals. Your left boot starts reciting multiplication tables in Klingon. The right counters with limericks about isosceles triangles. Negotiate a truce. They settle on ASMR whispers of prime numbers. 73, 79, 83, each digit softer than lamb's wool. The staircase ends at a frescoed dome. Constellations here aren't gods or beasts. They're geometric proofs. Orion's belt becomes a right-angled triangle, his sword. A protractor, glinting with unprovable axioms. The shell floats toward Cassiopeia's, Charod's curves, mirroring her celestial parentheses. Dawn encroaches, equations fade to palimpsest. The stairs dissolve into abacus beads, clattering into a void. You clutch the shell, now shrunk to pendant size. Its chambers hum the opening bars of Bohemian Rhapsody. Because math rocks, apparently, your boots stage a sit-down protest, souls fused to an ancient tax ledger. We've carried you through 7 dimensions, and one snarky seashell, they hiss. Tip us in arch support coinage, or we'll unionize. Produce a handkerchief of Byzantine silk, the embroidered ducats appease them. For now, the dome's frescoes peel away, revealing a night sky stippled with numerals instead of stars. Fibonacci's spiral spins lazily above, now fused with the double helix of DNA. Turns out Pythagoras was half right. The music of the spheres is just nucleic acids jazzily replicating. Liquid amber pools at your feet, each droplet contains a solved paradox. Step in, your reflection shows a younger you, acing a pop quiz you never studied for. The scent of Sharpies and unearned confidence wafts up. Nostalgia's cheap high, the shell grows warm. Its chambers now cradle a miniature supernova. Peer closer. The explosion's pattern matches both superstring theory and your cousin's crochet work. Science and craft stores, more alike than either admits. A bell tolls, its sound wave visible as a sine curve. The numerals retreat, marching into horizon lines drawn by compulsive compass holders. You pocket the shell. It vibrates smugly. Somewhere, a monk abandons his prayers to binge-watch algebra TikToks. Exhaustion hits your knees buckle into an armchair woven from Fibonacci primes. It rocks, matching the cradle's motion in your inner ear. The dome's last equation blinks out, leaving an afterimage of your 3rd grade math teacher mouthing C. I told you it'd be fun. Darkness swallows the numerals. You float in a void where negative numbers hum lullabies. The shell whispers rest. Tomorrow's lesson involves parabolas, and the sleep you'll never get back. Silver threads brush your cheeks, cool as spider silk, steeped in starlight. The void reshapes itself, warping into a loom taller than empires. Its frame gleams, polished bone from creatures that grazed on comet tails. Shuttles dart like glowworms on methamphetamines, weaving tapestries where cities rise and rot in the span between heartbeats. 3 figures coalesce their fingers, warped from millennia of pulling destiny strings. You recognize Clotho's untamed curls, Lachesis measuring thread, with a yawn, Atropos's shears dangling like forgotten punctuation. Mainstream fact, Greek weavers offered these fates honeycakes and broken distaffs, bribes to snip bad romances early. A tapestry unfurls, depicting your 3rd grade soccer match, then morphs into Cleopatra's barge, sinking into Nielsen ratings. The threads glitch, showing Napoleon arm wrestling a kangaroo over brunch vouchers. Drafts, mutters Clotho, flicking cronut crumbs from her chitin. Your pinky snags a thread. It hums the opening riff of smells like teen spirit. Suddenly, you're 15, sneaking out to lick gas station slushies under moth-battered streetlights. The memory phrase, replaced by a Soviet cosmonaut's last sight, Earth curving like a lover's smirk. Lachesis snorts. Oversharers, these mortals. Her measuring tape, a live cobra, hisses at your shoelaces. Atropos yawns, her scissors snap at a thread labeled 2020. The loom protests, vomiting glitter and OSHA violation warnings. Quirky tidbit: Victorian mediums claimed to read fate's fabric through textile ectoplasm, mostly unraveled sweaters and cat hair. The fates still send cease and desist letters via haunted spinning wheels. A shuttle deposits a half-knit mitten in your palm. Its pattern matches your DNA helix. Pull a loose thread. Your left eyebrow goes rogue, arching like a Bond villain's. Atropos chuckles, sound of glaciers calving. Oops, the air reeks of lavender and burning spreadsheets. Tapestries now show alternate realities. You as a graphene farmer, a tea-stained librarian, that guy who invented Velcro but regrets it daily. One shimmers, you're reciting Chaucer to disinterested alpacas. Clotho shrugs, we outsource to interns sometimes. Historians still argue whether the Morai influenced Bronze Age tariff disputes or just dug the drama. Evidence: a Linear B tablet reads, please stop changing the Wi-Fi password. Zeus, Lachesis's cobra tangles itself in a thread labeled Beyoncé's backup dentist. The resulting tapestry depicts a sitcom laugh track overpowering the Magna Carta signing. You laugh, the sound loops into the loom's warp like a corrupted MP3. Atropos extends her shears, handle forged from the silence between wolf howls. Want to cut your own thread? You hesitate. She grins, all molars and menace. Kidding, liability issues. A section of tapestry melts, revealing lazy Susans spinning through void. It holds Newton's alchemy notes, Elvis's lost grilled cheese, your 6th birthday's helium shortage. The fates poke it like TikTok shoppers bored but compulsive. Clotho plucks a thread. It becomes your middle school bully's nose hair. She weaves it into a scene where he apologizes via interpretative dance. The satisfaction is adequate. Dawn bleeds through the tapestry, threads discolor like old bruises. The fates fade, their tools dissolving into dental floss and student loan paperwork. A single shuttle remains. It stitches your name into the edge of a doily. The letters glow, fade, rearrange into to be continued in the discount bin. Weightlessness claims you. The loom unravels into space junk and decommissioned satellites. A voice echoes, possibly Morgan Freeman, possibly Siri. Destiny's just a suggestion wrapped in schadenfreude. Sleep tight. You fall upward, threads coiling into a hammock that smells of fresh photocopies. And your lungs fill with air, thick as fresh Xerox toner. A dusty sweetness clinging to parchment, made from shredded board meetings. Gravity shifts. You're no longer falling, but sprawled across something warm and ridged, a landscape pretending to be stone. Breath rumbles beneath you, each exhale carving valleys where ferns uncurl like snooze buttons. These aren't mountains, they're knees. A titan lies belly up beneath you, each eyelid large enough to park a food truck on. Its nostril flares, sucking in a storm cloud that becomes a snore shaped like Wagner's Ride of the Valkyries, mainstream fact. Hesiod's Theogony claims Titans birthed the first mountains when Kronos got indigestion after eating Zeus's fake baby. Historians still argue whether they were metaphors for earthquakes or really bad landlords. Fog pools in the Titan's collarbone crevices. It smells of wet dog and a church basement after bingo night. You slide down a forearm the color of old gym mats, landing in a meadow stitched from dandelion fluff and used staples. Quirky tidbit: Victorian geologists thought Iceland's geysers were Titan belches. They sent diplomats to negotiate quieter eruptions. Spoiler: terra firma doesn't take requests. The ground heaves. A yawn rolls upward like a reverse avalanche. Above, one sulfur yellow eye cracks open, pupil swirling with magma, and the faint outline of a 24-hour diner menu. A peak of crusted earth tumbles from the Titan's shoulder, becoming Arizona's future third-largest rock formation. Dormite booms a voice that vibrates your fillings, the Titan's hand calloused as 5 abandoned bowling alleys sweeps over its chest. Volcanic rumbles morph into language. Napping, supreme art form, mortals toxic with productivity. Ash puffs punctuate each phrase, settling into a snow globe's worth of silt on your shoes. You press a palm to the Titan's sternum. It thrums with the bass line of "I've been workin' on the railroad." A hillside sprouts where you stand, pines erupting like green fireworks, frozen mid-burst. One spindly sapling grows a face, whispers terrible knock-knock jokes in Proto-Indo-European. You smile. It feels good to disappoint ancestors. The Titan's toenail gleams, quartz growth rings showing millennia of naps. Edge closer, the cuticles, a mural of desperate humans offering alarm clocks as sacrifices. Talk, unwelcome guest, grumbles the ground beneath you. A pebble embeds itself in your pocket. It's an ancient sundial that only measures existential dread. Wind snatches your breath, carries it into the Titan's left ear. Laugh lines deep as subway tunnels crinkle. Skinny mortal ambition itch, scratch with snooze. Its eyelid droops, volcano glow, dimming to a nightlight's amber haze. The meadow sighs, sinking deeper into a hipster beard of moss. Your watch melts into a puddle of minuscule cogs. Time here isn't linear. It's a boomerang dipped in molasses. Historians still argue whether Atlantis sank because Titans rolled over in their sleep. But honestly, wouldn't you? Steam hisses from a fissure in the Titan's elbow. It smells of burnt toast and unspoken apologies. The fog thickens, wraps around you like moth-eaten cashmere. Distant ridges shift, revealing themselves as knuckles curled around a dream where taxes don't exist. One final exhale ruffles your hair. It carries the taste of birthday cake and last week's rain. The Titan's eye seals shut, lashes crusted with stalactites, and the ghosts of early meetings. You're sinking now, not falling, settling. As the landmass purrs itself back into geologic REM, the last thing you see, a single smoke ring drifting from the slumbering volcano, its center shaped like a permission slip to nap without guilt. Moonlight slicks the water's surface, a liquid mirror colder than your ex's goodbye text. You kneel at the shore, toes numbing as ripples distort your reflection into 100 strangers. Faces bloom beneath the waves, features smudged like charcoal sketches left in the rain. One shape lingers, a man in Renaissance garb mouthing me culpa through mercury-thick ripples. Historians still argue whether Da Vinci's lost Medusa shield was art or a guilt-fueled therapy project after his anatomy sketches disturbed patrons. The water shivers, his face dissolves into bubbles tasting of quill ink and poor life choices. A rowboat materializes, its hull inlaid with mismatched mirrors. You step in. It creaks like an old Instagram feed, reloading cringe memories. Oars dip without touch, each stroke churning up whispers. Should bought Bitcoin, skipped that wedding, told mom. The voices harmonize into white noise, a lullaby for could-have beens. Something glints below, an Egyptian hand mirror crusted in lotus petals. Quirky tidbit, Cleopatra's servants allegedly polished her bronze reflectors with ground moonstone until she realized it made her pores look cosmic. You reach down, the water sears like dry ice, and that time you tried espresso at 9 p.m. The lake floors littered with artifacts, a Viking's dented helmet reflecting a farm he abandoned, a 90s Tamagotchi still beeping for its long-dead pixel pet. Your breath fogs a nearby surface. The condensation spells YOLO in Gothic script. You smirk, even regrets get ironic here. A willow dips its branches, leaves skimming the water into Rorschach blots. One resembles your third-grade teacher, another, a parking enforcer who once wrote you a ticket during a mental breakdown. The boat slows, stirring a whirlpool where a woman's face fragments. She mouths herniated disc with the gravitas of a Shakespearean soliloquy. The center of the lake glows, an island made of shattered iPhone screens. Their cracks form constellations. A cracked selfie mode star, a Wi-Fi symbol bleeding into the void. You drift closer, the air smells of burnt hair, and that one DM you shouldn't have sent. Mirror shards jut upward, each traps a frozen moment. A wedding ring mid-throw, a diploma melting like Dolly's clock. A middle finger aimed at a sky full of billing statements. Your pulse thrums in your ears. Or is that Cardi B's money playing backward through a gramophone? Moonlight shifts, revealing your reflection holding a stone. Mainstream fact. Ancient Mesopotamians threw guilt offerings into rivers, carved clay kidneys meant to purify shame. Your stone weighs nothing, yet pulls like an anchor made of last year's resolutions. You let go, it sinks without a splash, taking your "I'll start yoga Monday" lie with it. The boat rocks, a wave licks your palm bitter as unsent apology letters. Fish dart past, translucent bodies showing vertebrae etched with tiny FML doodles. One nibbles a bubble containing your 8th grade bowl cut, blessedly dissolving it into algae. A mirror shard floats by. It reflects Bridgetown, Barbados, in 1715, where a clerk once misfiled a sugar shipment record and invented existential dread. You touch the surface, salt crusts your fingertips. Historians still argue whether the Great Molasses Flood of 1919 was caused by rum-soaked rats or Boston's collective sugar guilt. Dawn bleeds across the water. The faces fade like steam sail games you'll never play. Willow leaves brush your shoulder, each stroke whispering delete, delete, delete. The boat disintegrates, planks becoming mist that smells of freshly wiped hard drives. You wash ashore, sand sticks to your skin like old browser cookies. The lake sighs, its surface now still as a meditation app's opening screen. Somewhere beneath those mirrored depths, a stone settles among clay kidneys, and your regrets finally learn to float. Sand grinds between your toes into cosmic glitter under sudden starlight. The beach becomes an anvil stretching toward a blacksmith's furnace where supernovas billow like bellows. 3 figures loom, their hammers raised against anvil moons. Each strike births sparks that twist into fireflies, carrying snippets of Homer's grocery lists and Einstein's shower thoughts. You sidestep a molten puddle. It reflects your face, stretched like a funhouse mirror. Rough day, rumbles a voice made of comet tails. The nearest smith lowers his hammer, a tool forged from a neutron star's core. His apron shimmers, Damascus steel, woven with prayers from 13th century swordsmiths. Mainstream fact: those blade folding techniques weren't just art, they turned Viking raids into iron poetry. He flicks a fingernail-sized ember at you. You catch it. The heat's gentler than your ex's passive-aggressive tea recommendations. The spark blooms, revealing a Roman gladiator's helmet pitted with tiny bite marks. Quirky tidbit: archaeologists found one in Pompeii with molars embedded turns. Out thumbs down fans got creative. The smith snorts. Mortals, always chewing their regrets. A comet streaks overhead, its icy tail lashed into glowing wire by celestial tongs. Workers weave it into chainmail that hums with radio static from the 1969 moon landing. One link chitters. Houston, we've had a clang problem here. You lean closer. The smith blocks you. Don't. That one's destined for a senator's panic room. The forge's heart glows blue-white, a dying star pressed into service as a kiln. Historians still argue whether the Antikythera mechanism was a navigational tool or a drunk inventor's attempt to copyright the universe. You stoop to grab a discarded rivet. It sears your palm with the ion charge of unread DMs. The smith yanks it back. Careful, that's earmarked for a raccoon's escape plan. Across the vaulted space, a crane dips into a tar pit of liquid nebula. It emerges clutching a breastplate etched with Van Gogh's Starry Night. If he'd painted it during a migraine, a gnomish apprentice adjusts her goggles, welding mitts stitched from Alexander the Great's lost sock collection. She winks. Armor's pointless without flair. Also pockets. You inhale ozone and ambition. It tastes like stepping into a startup's IPO afterparty. The smith thrusts a shield toward you. Its surface swirls with galaxies, and a faint terms and conditions disclaimer. You squint. Does this block swords or existential dread? He grins, revealing teeth forged from Shakespearean sonnets. Depends if you renew the warranty. A bell tolls, its sound unraveling into Schrödinger's equation midair. The smiths scatter, leaving hammers cooling into obsidian obelisks. The apprentice tosses you a screwdriver made of frozen dark matter for your IKEA chair. The wobble's intentional builds character. Dawn leaks through the forge's roof, each sunbeam incinerating tools into stardust motes. Fireflies dive bomb your hair, weaving constellations that'll tangle into tomorrow's bad decisions. The main smith bows, his apron dissolving into the opening chords of Bowie's Space Oddity. Next time, bring better snacks. Neutron stars give terrible lunch breaks. You blink, sand reseals itself beneath your feet. A single firefly lingers, its glow outlining a hashtag on Thor's missing hammer. You pocket it, because why not? Somewhere above, a comet tail phrase, and a raccoon plots escape. The firefly in your palm surges its light dissolving sand into marble veined with gold. You stand between shelves that twist upward forever. Leather-bound volumes exhale whispers. A billion conversations pressed like dried flowers. One tome smells of papyrus and smoke. Its pages hold Hypatia's last debate with a student. Mainstream fact, she taught mathematics until politics burned brighter than library lamps. A crimson cover winks Archimedes, bath time sketches glows in peeling script. Peek inside, triangles conquering towel folds. You snap it shut, geometry deserves privacy. Quirky tidbit, scribes once wrote cookbooks in reverse to confuse recipe thieves. Your nail grazes a spine. Suddenly, you're eavesdropping on Napoleon's tailor, complaining about unreachable hem lengths. Dust motes float like lazy exclamation points. You sneeze. The echo becomes Queen Elizabeth's perfumed hiccup from 1592. Historians still argue whether the great library of Alexandria fell in one fiery night or crumbled from 1,000 petty neglects. A scroll unfurls, sunglasses emoji carved into Mesopotamian clay. Ozymandias, burner account, murmurs a passing librarian. Their robe shimmers. It's woven from Twitter arguments about pineapples on pizza. Your shadow stretches into the ancient memes. Isle, a velociraptor disapproves of your life choices via interpretive dance. A slim volume pulses, text squirming like eels. 19th century scholars swore it held alien gardening tips. Turns out it's medieval bubble tea recipes. You trace a paragraph, it purrs. Careful, warns a floating index card. That one catalogs breakup texts from Atlantis. Moonlight bleeds through stained glass windows. Einstein arm wrestling a grumpy Socrates. Your fingers brush a diary titled Benedict Arnold's grocery lists. Turnips, gunpowder, 7 kinds of regret. A child's laugh flutters down. Your own 3rd grade giggle, trapped in margarine-colored pages. The librarian materializes, adjusting spectacles made of melted vinyl records. We archive everything, even the cringe. A map slips from the ceiling, ink rivers dissolve where cities forgot their names. You follow a dotted line labeled shortcut through Napoleon's ego. It dead ends at a pop-up book of extinct constellations. Lift the flap, a disco ball T-Rex winks, tail smeared with glitter and Cretaceous pollen. Wind stirs, pages riffle like 1,000 eyes blinking awake. Shelley's lost draft of Frankenstein flutters by The Monster opens a vegan bakery in this version. You trip on a rug woven from Roman gossip. Caligula's horse definitely deserved that Senate seat. Light pools around a clay tablet. Complaint number 4 Ray, pyramid alignment fees. Stamp reads DENIED. The firefly dims, shelves collapse into a kaleidoscope of closing plots. A final whisper brushes your ear. Due date is never. Marble softens back to sand. You're left clutching a bookmark. It's your kindergarten finger painting of a dog, or maybe a very confused lion. Somewhere above, stars rearrange into overdue notices. Your toes sink into moss, spongy and cool as forgotten refrigerator leftovers. Bamboo stalks sway, each creak a rusty hinge from nature's closet. A breeze carts through, carrying whispers of 12th century monks who inked prayers on bamboo scrolls. Mainstream fact: their manuscripts outlasted stone carvings, flexing through dynasties like a built-in perk. Something crunches underfoot. You glance down, a carved bamboo slip etched with symbols. Historians still argue whether these were wartime ciphers or shopping reminders for rice wine. A giggle ripples maybe the forest laughing at our need to label everything. Moonlight lacquers the grove in liquid graphite. That's when you spot them, tiny Buddhas formed from knotted roots. Quirky tidbit: 1940s botanists swore these root deities hummed during new moons. You lean closer, silence. Then, a vibration through your knees, like God's own subwoofer. A stalk taps your shoulder. Its leaves rustle sheet music for an absent orchestra. You hum along. Isn't this that tick-tock sea shanty? The bamboo disapproves. Its next creak sounds suspiciously like a facepalm. Up ahead, the trees tighten into a spiral. 18th century maps called this the snoring thicket, though cartographers were probably drunk on bamboo sap wine. Your elbow brushes a chute. It peels open like a green pencil case. Inside, a moth wearing pollen as a fur stole. Dress codes formal tonight, you murmur. It flutters off, trailing Chanel number 5 decay. Ground fog thickens. Each step stirs plumes resembling slam poetry smoke machines. Remember those bamboo toothbrushes they marketed as earth-friendly. This forest invented biodegradability with better PR. A leaf brushes your neck, cool as a botanist's passive aggression. Suddenly, the grove stills. Even the root humming pauses for dramatic effect. A single shoot erupts skyward, growing a full meter while you blink. Bamboo's party trick. McDonald's straw growth rates on cosmic fertilizer. You have expected to start selling life coaching courses. Something glows ahead, not fireflies, but bioluminescent fungi colonizing a fallen stalk. Their light pulses, Morse code repeats. Take the mushrooms, the mushrooms. Wise advice seldom comes from things named Omphalotus nidiformis. The path dissolves into a creek of crushed moonlight. Your reflection wavers, features blending with a samurai who once composed haikus here. His armor's still mounted in Kyoto, but his bad puns haunt this grove eternally. What's a bamboo's favorite comedy genre? The wind groans before answering. Shtick and poke. Air thrums warmer now, Ionian breath from soil where roots dream louder. You press a palm to the earth, vibrations align with your REM cycle. Coincidence? The bamboo winks in a non-literal, chlorophyll-based way. Dawn bleeds through now, canopy transforming into a sieve for peach-colored light. The slumber song fades, but lingers in your molars like forgotten dream residue. Somewhere, a panda yawns, the true critic of tonight's performance. Crystallized air stings your cheeks, frost sculpting goblin beard patterns on your scarf. The bamboo's warmth fades behind you, replaced by spires of ice-weeping diamond tears. Each drip refreezes mid-fall chandeliers of fragile glass, guarding a hollow throne. You tread lightly, snow hairs blink up from fur-lined divots in the dais. Mainstream fact: medieval Scandinavians harvested palace ice blocks for summer feasts, royalty sipping mead chilled by winter's corpse. A hare yawns, its breath spirals into Cyrillic letters. You don't read Russian, but the vibe screams squatters' rights. Glacial walls hum Vivaldi's Winter off-key. Quirky tidbit: 19th century trappers swore hares gnawed, frost drunk, wood to hallucinate grass in snow season. One flops sideways, legs kicking imaginary meadows. The throne's armrest crumbles under your touch, revealing termites in tiny ice picks. Union workers, you nod. They click mandibles in solidarity. Moonlight fractures through the ceiling, a disco ball for ghosts. Historians still argue whether ice palaces were defensive strongholds or rich people meltdowns. Your boot dislodges a tile. Below lies a chessboard with frozen pawns. Black rook takes white knight via squirrel-nibbled perforations. A spire crashes, shattering into sugar-fine snow. You pocket a shard. It's the exact shape of Finland. Coincidence or cryogenic cartography? The hares huddle now, forming a cottontail hydra with 6 twitching noses. One sneezes glitter. You make a mental note: never trust lagomorphic chimeras. Wind snakes through arrow slits, wolf howls rewritten as yodeling kazoos. Throne cushions slump, goose feathers leaking like failed pillow treaties. Remember those ice hotels that serve vodka in glacier cubes? This place is their moody goth cousin. Something clinks above. Icicle daggers grow downward, then snap off to form a wind chime orchestra. Their song, memory from cats, but with more existential dread. A hare thumps its paw, nature's metronome, rejecting Andrew Lloyd Webber. Dawn bleeds across the floor, peach light, exposing waterlogged murals. Kings and bears parade in melted blues, their arrogance now puddles. Your shadow stretches tall as a usurper's ambition. It waves. You don't wave back. The last spire drips a farewell haiku onto your shoulder. Frost-kissed hubris falls, hairs inherit diamond dust, winter's CVS receipt. Deep. You exit as the ceiling buckles, ice becoming liquid, becoming fog, becoming someone else's problem. Snow crunches behind you. The lead hare winks, its eye a puzzle piece. If you squint, it's Finland again. Pegasus banks left, the icy Finnish hare winks, dissolving into mist. Ahead sprawls a mountain range that shouldn't exist, slopes steeper than God's Discord DMs. 3 shadows detach from the summit, a lion's tangled mane, a serpent's oil-slick coils, goat horns curling like unanswered questions. The chimera lands with a thud that shakes loose a rock slide. Or maybe that's your knees. Mainstream fact. Ancient Greeks painted chimeras on wine jars, lion heads, snarling at tipsy philosophers. This one's different. The lion yawns, showcasing molars big as soap bars. The serpent flicks its tongue, tasting your heartbeat like expired yogurt. The goat chews something, hopefully not your backpack. Warmth radiates from their pelts, campfire heat without the smoky aftertaste. Quirky tidbit. Medieval farm wives swore goats could smell thunderstorms 3 valleys away. The chimera's goat head sneezes, a hay-scented breeze ruffling your hair. 5 stars would inhale again. The lion flops onto its side belly, fur rippling like a wheat field mid-salsa roll. They nuzzle each other, a 3-way hug where nobody wins. The serpent loops around your ankle, not squeezing, just vibing. Historians still argue whether chimeras symbolized failed political mergers or dudes who really loved taxidermy. You lean into the lion's mane. It smells like naps and burnt toast. Cozy apocalypse. Moonlight glints off the goat's left horn. Engraved there, property of Hephaestus. If found, toss into nearest volcano. The serpent hisses a scale-rattling lullaby. Kumbaya meets smoke on the water. The goat head mutters about oat futures. Wall Street could never. Flame-flecked drool pools beneath the lion, hardening into obsidian pacifiers. You pocket one. Souvenir or future eBay nightmare. The serpent's tail flicks, plucking a thundercloud from the sky like cotton candy. It crunches, tastes like regret and static cling. Wind howls through the goat's hollow horns, delivering a Cusham tablet's worth of gossip. Something about Manon plumbing lawsuits. The lion snores, each exhale spinning dust devils that bow to you. All hail the sleepy overlord. Dawn pokes the horizon. The chimera shudders flame giving way to ash-gray fur. Eyes dim from wildfire to hearthglow. Transformation complete. What was monster becomes mantelpiece. The serpent's tail morphs into a poker, which feels oddly judgmental. Rocks grind beneath you. The whole mountain is the chimera's spine, and it's rolling over. You slide down a mountainside of bristles. Lion fur escalators need OSHA inspections. The goat head burps. A cloud of dandelion spores blooms in your face. Sneezes echo for miles. Last glance back. The summit's just 3 boulders now, and a suspiciously cozy-looking cave. The serpent's discarded skin shimmers underfoot, crinkling like cellophane from a 90s Easter basket. Step on it. You know you want to. Pegasus whinnies, his wings flecked with glowing embers from the chimera's nap. One sticks to your sleeve, it winks. You let it burn out. Some sparks are meant for other skies. Pegasus lands, hooves skidding across ice that groans like a stepped-on baguette. Ahead looms a sundial taller than your rent anxiety. Its bronze face frosted into illegibility. Shadow lines stretch across centuries instead of hours, each marking an empire's lifespan. The Vikings never saw this, and honestly, they'd have stolen it for scrap metal. Your breath crystallizes midair, diamond dust thoughts hanging between blinks. Mainstream fact. Roman sundials used lead pipes to track shadows, tapped by the same slaves who built their bathhouses. This one's different. The ice isn't cold, it bites. Time's teeth sink into your shins, nibbling, but not devouring. Weird flex, chronos. Weird flex. Quirky tidbit. Aztec sun stones secretly compartmentalized priests stored cocoa beans, where the doomsday glyph sat. You chip at the frost, no chocolate. Just a hollow clink that tastes like penny-forgotten jars. The center hole winks, an invitation or indictment. Choose your adventure. Shadows creep, black tendrils squirming from the dial's edge. One brushes your wrist. Instantly, you're 9 years old scraping knees on a driveway that smelled of tar and December. Memory melts as fast as it came, leaving nostalgia frostbite. The ice beneath you moans Catholic guilt in glacier form. Engraved along the rim, Tempus edax rerum. Google translate that later. For now, you trace the letters. Each groove vibrates, humming 3rd century tavern songs. Caligula's drunk uncle probably commissioned this. A snowflake lands on the gnomon, shattering into a perfect Roman numeral x10 seconds. Dynasties, ex-girlfriends, histories, a choose-your-own ennui. Something shifts, underground gears grinding with the enthusiasm of a DMV clerk. The dial's face cracks, revealing quartz veins that pulse L-I-K-E, Chinese letter, Chinese letter, Chinese letter, Chinese letter, O-R arteries. Frosted numerals liquefy, sliding into new configurations. 1582 vanishes. October never existed here. Entire years blur time's spilled alphabet soup. Historians still argue whether ancient timekeepers feared the winter solstice or just hated filling out parchment calendars. You press a palm to the bronze. It's warm. Always warm. Like a laptop left charging in a tomb. The ice retaliates, creeping up your ankles with the persistence of a LinkedIn recruiter. Pegasus nudges the gnomon it pivots, screeching like a middle school clarinet. The shadow swings wildly, Chinese letter, in 79 AD. Ash drifts across your vision, Pompeii's last gasp trapped in permafrost. A baker's oven still glows red, his loaf fossilized mid-rise. The ice absorbs the memory, digesting tragedy into glitter. High noon arrives 7 centuries late, sunlight refracting through the dial's cracks. Rainbow knives slash the glacier, dissecting lies from ledgers. Your shadow stretches east, staining the ice a guilty blue. It waves. You don't wave back. Rude, maybe, wise. Ask future you. Moonrise fractures the dial into a disco ball, each shard replaying a different year. 1347 flickers. A plague doctor's mask mists over. 1969 pixelates Apollo. 11's flag wilts in non-existent wind. You blink, and it's 2020. Everyone's wearing sweatpants. Ice quickly seals over that decade. Mercy exists. The sundial shudders, shedding frozen hours like a husky's winter coat. Bronze oxidizes to verdigris midair, patina snowflakes settling on your shoulders. Pegasus sneezes, blowing away the Renaissance. Michelangelo's David loses a toe somewhere over Greenland. Art conservators worldwide just felt a chill. Dawn leaks through the gnomon, light piercing the glacier like an IV drip. Time rehydrates. Ice becomes slush, then mist, then the ghost of a puddle. The dial sinks, engulfed by what it once measured. Bronze gears float upward, constellations of cogs forming a stopped clock. You kick a pebble. It arcs through epochs, landing in a ditch dug by Bronze Age toddlers. Their laughter echoes, or maybe that's glaciers calving in the distance. Pegasus, wings stir the air, a breeze that smells of sundials and photocopier toner. One frozen shadow remains, stretched thin as onion skin. Step on it. The ice holds, then cracks with the sound of a spine adjusting. Below lies a vast nothingness, and a single misplaced USB drive labeled tax returns 312 BC. Pegasus whinnies time to go. You pocket a loose gear tooth. It thrums in your palm, keeping rhythm with an Aztec's cocoa-addled heartbeat. Behind you, the glacier sews itself shut, zipper teeth of ice erasing the seam. The gear tooth warms your palm, humming like a bee-swayard to an Egyptian king's forgotten lullaby. Ahead, the horizon blushes. Crimson lanterns float upward, tethered only to size. Their rice paper bellies swollen with unspoken apologies. Job applications burned in 2014. That gym membership you kept meaning to cancel. You step closer, grass soft as thrice-folded origami. Mainstream fact: Han Dynasty scholars floated lanterns to mourn fallen soldiers, until someone realized grief looks prettier lit from within. These glow pinker, blushing at their own vulnerability. One bobs near your ear, its whispered confession smells of lavender and dial-up internet tones. A lantern falters pale as a skipped breakfast. Your exhale lifts it, the flame gulping courage like trampled birthday candles. Historians still argue whether ancient festivals banned red lanterns during locust plagues, or just feared looking too festive mid-apocalypse. The paper shudders, then flares like a college graduate's LinkedIn photo. Messages dance beneath the surface, ink splitting into Rorschach blots. I should have kissed her bleeds into Dad's recipe for lentil soup. Then a crude drawing of a cat wearing socks. Quirky tidbit: Victorian mediums claimed lanterns could carry notes to the dead, though most replies got lost in astral spam folders. Your shadow stretches, morphed into a funhouse mirror version, humming show tunes. It pirouettes across lanterns splitting. I'm fine pledges into atomized glitter. A dropped luggage claim ticket from 1997 combusts midair. Its ashes spell meh in cursive. Moonlight filters through a lantern stamped dentist appointment 2006. The beam hits your cheek. Suddenly you're tasting Novocaine and childhood shame over unfinished broccoli. Memory fades, replaced by the tang of misdirected ambition and soy sauce. High above, a cluster of French tutorial lanterns collides with ones carrying vaping habits. Their struggle births a supernova of half-learned guitar chords. Pegasus snorts. Confetti from a divorce party balloon sticks to his wings. This why I never check my DMs, he'd say. If mythical steeds spoke in Gen Z. Wind plucks a lantern's string. It spirals toward you. Inside pulses a glow-in-the-dark futon, still cradling the indent of a ghosted lover. You add tonight's ticket stub, the ink reading one existential void. Window seat. The lantern bobs upward, its new cargo already gossiping with a redeemed pawnshop voucher. 3 lanterns intertwine, wax seals melting into shared custody agreements. Their combined heat warps a get-well-soon card from someone you can't recall. The paper curls, revealing doodles of otters holding hands. Your spine unkinks one vertebra at a time, the pop echoing like a comma in a legal document. One lantern sinks, snagged by thorns that crochet its string into friendship bracelets. You toss a pebble from section 21's glacier. It bounces off the brambles, shattering into 7 happy birthday stranger balloons. The thorns retreat, mumbling passive-aggressive gardening tips. Dawn's first yawn turns lanterns translucent, memories reduced to filing cabinet labels. A birth announcement from 1623 dissolves mid-rise. Its optimism now just static cling on the Milky Way. Pegasus sneezes, propelling a cluster toward Saturn's rings. One lantern clings to the planet, its final message flashing, Wi-Fi password. One don't know either. The last lantern hovers, burning the foxfire green of abandoned libraries. Reach out, it deposits a marble in your palm. Inside swirls every I love you ever swallowed. The glass stays cold, weighted with highway exit motel keys and unlabeled home videos. Moonlight thins. Lanterns fade, their cargo deposited on stars' back porches. Pegasus noses your pocket, the gear tooth still ticking. Somewhere, an Aztec priest laughs through cocoa-stained teeth. You turn toward the scent of damp playbills and unwritten thank you notes as the horizon stitches itself closed with golden thread. The golden thread dissolves into soil rich with the musk of unopened storybooks. Blossoms cocoon their colors, velvet pods sealed tighter than a teenager's first journal. You kneel, earth yields like memory foam, cradling ancient breakups, and two epiphanies. A root nuzzles your ankle, whispering secrets in dendrochronology. Pressure here. We stored the scream you swallowed during 2017's tax audit. Tap twice if you'd like us to repurpose it as fertilizer for daylilies. Pegasus grazes nearby, muzzle deep in clover that tastes of discontinued childhood cereals. His wings droop, feathers molting into dandelion fluff that becomes next Thursday's to-do lists. Roman emperors once tucked chamomile beneath pillows. Long before sleep, hygiene became a Googleable offense. You pluck a pod, its surface hums with next spring's palette. Crack it open, indigo pigment puddles into your palm smelling of middle school watercolors and apologies never sent. The liquid hardens, a marble preserving last Tuesday's sunrise and the exact hex code of your first car. Wind riffles through grass, blades etch sheet music only dormant fireflies can read. A beetle lugging a Cheeto crumb stops, antennae flicking Morse code for nap court adjourned. Victorian garden gnomes supposedly guarded dreamers from morning's rude arithmetic. A service now outsourced to sunrise alarm apps. Soil bulges, up heaves a tuber shaped like your third grade teacher's sigh. It splits, revealing quartz teeth, reciting multiplication tables in Aramaic. You toss it to Pegasus. His crunch echoes through the meadow, scattering numbers that bloom into poppies. Moonlight paints the horizon, staining clouds with the fuzzy logic of dream physics. A thorn scratches your wrist. Its venom whispers 3 truths and a lie. 1. Your 7th birthday cake was vegan. 2 spiders envy your eyelashes. 3. They're coming. 4. Unicorns hate glitter. Scholars still bicker. Did Egyptian sleep temples spike their honey with opium? Or just hire really persuasive harpists? The debate loops in your skull until a ladybug alights on your nose, its polka dots arranged like a QR code for melatonin. Rain begins, each drop a liquid lullaby, evaporating before impact. You catch one. It unravels into a scroll of discontinued antidepressants and knitting patterns. Pegasus sneezes, The parchment becomes confetti that nests in dandelion heads. Tomorrow's wishes. A root tendril taps your temple, offering to index forgotten pins and middle names. Decline politely. Some memories belong to the mycelium now. The soil purrs, vibrations syncing with your REM cycles, like a vinyl record of whale songs. Dawn lingers at the meadow's edge, too timid to cross. Petals rustle, rehearsing arguments against alarm clocks. Pegasus folds into a hillock, his breaths sprouting moss that neutralizes caffeine in real time. Touch a leaf. It dissolves your 3 p.m. meeting into a haiku about napkins. The last star winks its final flicker, encoded with yesterday's grocery list. You inhale, lungs filling with the silence between router beeps. When you exhale, the meadow exhales too, its roots storing your breath as a placeholder for tomorrow's scream. Grass blankets your shoulders, each blade programmed with a different candle scent. Stress relief. Eucalyptus. Regret. Choose wrong. And it tickles. Choose right. And your bones unclench like overworked parentheses. Sleep comes not as a thief, but a librarian shelving today's chaos under temporary. Blossoms stir, their sealed hues leaking into your eyelids, swaddling tomorrow's terrors in yesterday's comic strips. Pegasus snorts a sound that translates to credit SCORE Chinese letter in dream Mandarin. The meadow stills, holding your breath hostage, until sunrise negotiates its return. You drift, cradled by soil that filed your existential debt under natural causes. Soil particles reverse their fall, rising like stepped-on Play-Doh, extruded back into the can. Gears groan overhead, iron teeth unmeshing, as the clock tower's face melts from XVII to VI. Your shoelaces untie themselves, double knots dissolving like sugar in reverse rain. A bell tolls backward, its bronze shivers, gathering into the cupola like startled pigeons. Historians still argue whether Archimedes' steam cannon could have shattered Roman siege lines, or just sold spa treatments. The debate unravels as you climb stairs that uncreak beneath your soles, each step erasing a minor regret. Tuesday's coffee stain forgotten. Time pools at your feet, molten glass, flowing upward into blown hourglasses, suspended midair. Medieval monks blamed backward-running clocks on temporal hiccups. Prescribed ale mixed with powdered sundial. Your pinky brushes a gear. It chitters like a disgruntled Tamagotchi, demanding vintage watch batteries. Memories float past, bubble-wrapped snippets bobbing toward rafters. There's your 6th grade xylophone recital, middle C, stubbornly refusing to ascend. The bubble pops, releasing a sour note that morphs into your uncle's laugh. Galileo once timed pendulum swings with his pulse. Now your heartbeat sinks to reversing escapements. Lub-dub becoming dub-lub. Your 5th birthday candle flickers, flames sucking oxygen back into wax. The frosting unmelts, red dye number 40 bleeding into the cake's core. Vanilla scent rewinds through your nostrils, carrying the aftertaste of scraped knees, not yet scraped. Cogs spit out numerals. XVII becomes XIII with a metallic belch. A plaque on the wall claims this tower helped train Parisian lamplighters, though the expert endorsement is signed by a guy named Dr. Chrononaut. You snort. The sound loops backward into a startled inhale. Stained glass unshatters, shards assembling into Parsifal chasing his own reflection. Moonlight retreats through rose windows, each beam vacuuming. Dust motes back into last week's sneezes. Victorian occultists believed reversed clocks could recapture lost innocence. Hence those creepy silver spoons engraved with toddler fingerprints. Your shadow detaches, strolling ahead to open doors before you reach them. It mimes eating a reinverting grilled cheese, which you now recall abandoning mid-lunch in 2012. The taste lingers, carbonated milk and existential doubt. A grandfather clock regurgitates its weights, chains slurping iron balls like oversized tapioca pearls. Your left molar aches, reverse cavities unforming as fluoride retreats to toothpaste tubes. Scholars whisper about Roman water clocks running backward during eclipse panics. But try citing that in a thesis without cartoon sound effects. Gravity hiccups, your hair levitates into a nest of split ends and forgotten hairpins. A pocket watch swims past, its hands widdershins, ing so fast they impersonate a loading icon. You glimpse your reflection, pupils spiraling like cream stirred into coffee, then unstirred. The fifth birthday candle extinguishes, smoke curling backward into the wick. Wish fragments float by pony, ceasefire, Wi-Fi password. One sticks to your palm, the wish you forgot before blowing. It hums, a B-flat tuning fork pressed to your sternum. Bricks unweather, lichen retreating into mortar as quarried stone relearns its jagged edges. Your shoelaces tie themselves, double knots pulled tight by invisible scoutmaster hands. The tower shudders, gears grinding to a halt at XI, or maybe IX. Numerals blur, their meaning dissolving like sleep grit in morning light. Pegasus, distant whinny, unravels into a yawn, or maybe a reverse sneeze. Your last thought tunnels backward through the narrative, nestling into section 23's soil like a reprimanded comma. The candle's final flicker carries the hex code for melted birthday candle wax, hash F5A632. Or was it bleached regret? Details blur, warped but warm. Salt water replaces air. Your lungs welcome the burn like a long-lost spice. Coral branches sway in reverse, polyps sucking back neon tendrils as you sink. The reef below breathes, ribcage of a colossal beast drowned mid-snore. You recognize these shapes, same branching patterns as Vienna's fossilized reefs from 15 million years ago. Historians still argue whether Homer's sirens were inspired by manatee song or just boatloads of sunstruck poets. The debate dissolves as a melody pierces the gloom, half whale dirge, half dial-up modem. Coral spires pulse, their limestone veins thrumming with trapped vibrations. A mermaid's jawbone protrudes from the seabed, ivory teeth clutching a vinyl record labeled Lovelorn Ballads. Side B, scientific fact. Marine archaeologists found 17th century sailors' earplug wax still wedged in Spanish galleon ruins. You resist the urge to Q-tip the ocean. The song shifts, guitar strings unraveling into your mother's off-key lullaby. Three Little Birds meets Freebird. It stutters, a scratched LP skipping through lullabies from 3 cribs ago. Your baby teeth float past, encased in bubblegum pink coral, like nature's questionable piggy bank. A conch shell spirals open, revealing gramophone parts crusted in sea anemones. Victorian mediums claimed such shells could replay final thoughts of drowned librarians, provided you listened during high tide. You press your ear, hearing only tax deadlines and a dentist's drill. Glow-in-the-dark squid ink forms sheet music overhead. Notes scatter when you exhale. One bar sticks, the exact melody your cat sings for breakfast. If cats composed atonal jazz, coral fingers pluck your sleeve. Suspended growth rings mark centuries of territorial octopus disputes. The humming sharpens, now clearly mom's "I'm not angry, just disappointed" tone. A stone tablet drifts by, carved with musical notation and a grocery list. Pick up milk, apologize to Sparta, burn Troy, classic multitasking, bioluminescent jellyfish mimic, stained glass, their pulsations syncing to your slowing blink rate. Scholars whisper that Cleopatra's barge musicians played lyres strung with mermaid hair, though nobody wants to source that ethically. Your pinky hooks a harp string made of kelp. It plays your 3rd grade report card. B- in geometry, retroactively validated. The lullaby fractures, syllables separating into individual soap bubbles. Each contains a different goodnight from eras you've outgrown. One pops, releasing the scent of lavender detergent and unread eulogies. Marine biologists recently proved parrotfish hum during digestion, a fact that ruins both concerts and seafood buffets. A ship's figurehead looms, her wooden lips still parted for a scream that never came. Barnacles on her cheeks spell mood in Morse code. You pat her mossy shoulder, her frown unclenches, just enough to hum a sea shanty's chorus. The water thickens, syrupy with suspended lullabies from 7 seas. Your heartbeat adopts 6/8 time lub-dub-dub, dub-dub-lub. A crab sidesteps into view, claws clutching a metronome set to andante affogato. It winks because invertebrates love coffee puns. Mom's voice fades, replaced by the ultrasonic ping of coral spawning. A billion eggs rise like mistaken constellations, each a potential reef or bad tattoo. You swallow seawater, tasting equal parts nostalgia and phytoplankton. The record skips. Suddenly, it's your voice crooning off-key through briny speakers. Lyrics include tomorrow's grocery list and an apology you'll draft in 2034. The siren's jawbone crumbles, releasing a final note that lodges in your sternum G-sharp, unresolved. Shadows lengthen, or maybe the water's just tired of holding its breath. A sea turtle glides past, its shell inlaid with Armstrong's moon speech backwards. You translate via hiccups, small steps, giant leaps, mumbled expletives. Salt crystallizes on your lips, each granule a stolen lyric from sailors' last letters. The coral retreats, its song reduced to the vibration of a phone left buzzing in deep cushion. Colors leach away, turquoise draining into beige, until even the hum becomes the refrigerator's midnight hymn. Your last air bubble escapes, carrying a duet of mom's voice and a parrotfish's lunchtime serenade. The surface ripples 30 feet above, or maybe 3 lifetimes behind. You let the current pick the next track. Cold brine becomes mist. Your skin dries faster than spite in a group chat. Above swirls the aurora, a toddler's finger paint tantrum across God's fridge door. Colors bleed, teal chasing violet through valleys of cloud foam. You float upward, dripping salt becomes glitter in the sudden dry chill. This high up, the northern lights aren't just pretty plasma, they're leftover war paint from Thor's last drum circle. Historians still argue whether Vikings navigated by their flicker or just blamed them for bad mead trips. The void offers a brush, handle carved from a meteorite that missed Descartes' head in 1621. Bristles shed moondust dandruff as you grip it. Expert fact: 17th century astronomers believed auroras were celestial armies polishing their armor. You dip the tip into a nebula. It comes out dripping sherbet orange. First stroke, sky ruptures. Gold bleeds through the tear like yolk from a cosmic egg. Second stroke, indigo pools at the horizon discount night veil on a clearance rack. The brush tosses highlights like a Kardashian's contour tutorial sharp. Excessive, weirdly mesmerizing. A soap bubble floats past. Inside glows a tiny Edvard Munch screaming about his Wi-Fi. You pop it with the brush. Silent Danishes rain down, still warm. Quirky tidbit: Norwegian stonemasons once mixed aurora particles into church mortar, claimed it repelled sour-faced Lutherans. The masonry's still holding. Unlike Lutheranism's grip on TikTok, you doodle a dinosaur wearing Uggs. It winks before dissolving into the Green River Formation's fossil records. Next comes a blimp, shaped like your 5th grade guilt, complete with Pepsi-sponsored shame cannons. The aurora copies your moves. Van Gogh, if he'd had Adderall, and a Sephora gift card. Strokes blur, teal smears into magenta, like a gender reveal party gone existential. Your shoulders unknot, each brush flick, shaving off a mortgage payment or DMV memory. The sky's a Bob Ross fever dream now. Happy little supernovas, happy little black holes, happy little IRS audits. A sudden sneeze, your bless you echoes as a new constellation. 3 stars align into a middle finger, Cassiopeia's, finally speaking her truth. The brush trembles, dropping cerulean freckles across Andromeda's cheekbones. You half expect her to request a touch-up. Polaris glitches, flickering like a Britney Spears mic pack circa 2007. You trace over it with metallic pink, the color of Hot Topic's peak era. The North Star stabilizes, now accessorized with a belly ring. Wind steals the brush. It cartwheels into the atmosphere, shedding bristles that become shooting stars. One lands in your palm, a temporary tattoo reading, "Kiss me, I'm Aphelion." You pocket it for later. Dawn's first rays bleach the sky liquid gold, neutralizing neon, like a mom addressing graffiti. Colors retreat, not a vanish, more a theatrical exit with jazz hands. What's left is peach fuzz light, and the faint hum of paint drying. Your fingertips stay iridescent. Who needs moral clarity when you've got duochrome nails? The ground rises softly, less a landing, more a suggestion from a yoga instructor named Luna. Grass tickles your soles, each blade frosted with leftover stardust. And the 2 a.m. regret of unread texts. You exhale. Aurora pigment swirls in your breath, brief graffiti on reality's whiteboard. Historians will call it atmospheric scattering. You'll know better. Last light winks out, paintbrush now just a stick of petrified wood. It still smells of burnt ozone and clearance rack Chanel. Fitting, the horizon yawns, teasing tomorrow's palette, already fermenting in night's cellar. Parchment crackles beneath your palms, an atlas warped by centuries of indecision. Ink roads squirm like eels, towns vanishing mid-name. Alexandria becomes just a stain, cartographers' nightmares made flesh. This map eats its own legends for breakfast. A quill materializes, feather from a dodo bird that outlived its Wikipedia page. Its nib pulses, syncopated rhythm matching the thump behind your breastbone. Historians still debate whether the Camino de Santiago's oldest route was pilgrimage path or Iberian bar crawl. The quill hovers, dripping ink that smells of burnt rosemary and printer toner. First stroke, your pulse quickens. Scarlet ink bleeds northward, a ghostly Epean way materializing. Cobblestones glint with mica flecks, Roman centurion boot prints fossilized in poor life choices. Second stroke, the Silk Road unravels, merchants' faces blurred like botched Botox. You spot a caravan cartwheeling off course, silks spilling into Chernobyl's exclusion zone. Quirky tidbit, medieval mappa Mundi draftsman drew Jerusalem center stage and filled oceans with "Here be regrets" in cursive. Your quill adds a Starbucks logo, 17 leagues left of Atlantis. It winks, corporate colonialism meets mythological fanfiction. Dead-end footpaths sprout whiskers, probing westward like caffeinated caterpillars. One trail dissolves as you breathe, its final coordinates forming your mom's maiden name. Coincidence, the map belches a cloud of powdered wigs and diesel fumes. You doodle a shortcut through Versailles Hall of Mirrors, emerging at your 7th birthday party. Marie Antoinette offers cake you update her catchphrase to let them eat gluten-free. The path glitches, digits of pi scroll like a slot machine, until settling on 3, 1,415,926. OK, 7. Frost creeps across vellum, transforming the Amazon basin into a connect-the-dots of tarantula nests. The quill shivers ink, freezing into braille. Only voles can read. Polar exploration roots extrude. Shackleton's terror, immortalized in dotted line icicles. Sudden warmth, your thumbprint resurrects Route 66. Neon signs bloom, gas stations, selling Y2K survival kits and Tamagotchi baptisms. A hitchhiker winks, his sign reads Westinghouse or bust. You decline, too busy rerouting the Oregon Trail via Tinder matches. Moonlight hits the parchment. Hidden trails emerge in UV sorrow. Here's the path Audubon took when birds started judging him. There's Tesla's midnight sprint from Edison's goons. The quill quivers, dotting eyes with miniature tombstone engravings. Wind riffles pages, exposing a fold where Atlantis vacationers doodled crop circles. The map arches its back continental plates, grinding like TMJ sufferers. You add a ley line connecting your childhood home to the nearest Zumba studio, manifestation, or cry for help. Dawn approaches. Ink fades to watercolor susceptibility. The quill droops its final act, sketching your commute to work, as a labyrinth minotaur would design it. Office stairs spiral into Nessie's, lock conference rooms dangle over active calderas. HR's office, accessible only via tightrope. Last stroke dries, the map seals itself with wax from the Boston Tea Party's last candle. It levitates, edges singed by ambitions brighter than your closets. I'll fit into these again section. Horizons fold inward, becoming a paper crane that dive bombs into your cupped hands. Silence, except for the whisper of 10,000 erased footsteps. The ground still hums, latitude and longitude lines, massaging your soles through worn sneakers. Somewhere, a GPS satellite sighs unemployed, but finally well-rested. The paper crane crumples, embers spilling from its belly like reverse origami. Ash motes swirl upward, an inverted snowstorm warming your cheeks. Legends claim Cleopatra wore phoenix ash necklaces, each bead a contained apocalypse. You doubt her stylist's OSHA compliance. Beneath your feet, cracked terracotta shards whisper of Persian furnaces from 5 centuries BC. The air shimmers, oxygen ions getting frisky with combustion. Historians still argue whether the myth began with Egyptian Bennu birds or Han Dynasty diplomats mishearing Feng Huang through Silk Road static. Your nostrils flare scent of burning cinnamon and middle school science, fair volcanoes. A nest pulses ahead, woven from lightning-struck oaks, and Elvis's fried peanut butter banquets. Eggshell fragments levitate, each etched with Morse code only readable during leap years. Quirky tidbit, 14th century alchemists believed phoenix ash could turn lead into existential dread, and maybe gold if you squinted. You crouch, palm hovering over cinders that tickle like static TV screens. The egg gleams, obsidian veined with lava lamp gold. It hums the chorus of Bohemian Rhapsody backward at 83 BPM, eerily close to your laundry cycle's rhythm. Embers spiral, forming holograms of past rebirths. There's Rome burning as Nero Yamaha plucks a lyre. There's Tesla's lab reigniting via rogue pigeon. A spark lands on your sleeve. It sears a tiny QR code linking to Buddha's discontinued podcast. Heat waves distort the air, making your childhood home flicker like a corrupted JPEG. The egg's surface ripples, reflecting your face, aged 90. Then 12. Then Schrödinger's cat's LinkedIn profile. You have expect a terms and conditions. Scroll, infinition. Wind stirs the ashes. They coalesce into a chaise lounge of smoldering self-help books. You resist lounging. Fire has terrible Yelp reviews for ergonomics. A cinder pops, launching into a TED Talk on cyclical existentialism. You swat it like a philosophical mosquito. Moonlight hits the egg, revealing fingerprints from Catherine, the great's lost pyromancy phase. The shell whispers in reverse Arabic numerals, prime numbers quieter than library book pregnancies. Your watch stops, its gears worshipping temporal stillness, sudden coolness. A tear in the ash cloud reveals the Big Dipper. Its handle drips starlight onto the nest, recharging the egg like a cosmic USB-C port. You recall 9th grade physics, thermodynamics, never covered astral lactation theories. Silk threads materialize, spun from Marie Curie's leftover radium gown lining. They knit a safety net beneath the nest, because even apotheosis needs OSHA compliance. A thread brushes your wrist. It glows like pre-coffee neurons firing. Dawn threatens, the egg dims. Its surface cools into pumice texture, volcanic CVS receipt of near awakenings. Last embers sketch your face in constellation, form Cassiopeia gets your nose wrong. Again, you exhale, ashes settle into a Zen garden, raked by Truman's dropped atomic regrets. The egg hibernates, molten potential shelved, until next millennium's insomnia. Footprints fade behind you, each step birth and funeral in toasted carbon. Somewhere, an alarm clock yawns, unaware it'll inherit this egg's alarm-setting duties circa 3023. A rasping sound fills your ears, your own breath hitching mid-cycle. The air between exhale and inhale thickens, a shimmering curtain where oxygen pauses its commute. 14th century monks called this the lungs' liminality. Their meditation manuals now moldering in climate-controlled Vatican storage. Your left pinky tingles, apparently the body's gateway detection finger. Who knew? The threshold pulses, edges fraying like overcooked ramen noodles. Through it, a void that isn't empty, more like the universe's draft folder. Historians still argue whether Pythagoras suffocated during breath-holding contests, or just hated beans too much. A moth flutters past, its wings dusting your eyelashes with Renaissance theater pollen. London's Globe Theatre once hosted crowds so dense they shared breath like communal soup. You'd complain about the nacho cheese fog, step forward, toes passing through the veil as easily as forgetting Wi-Fi passwords. Gravity tilts. Suddenly you're floating sideways through non-space. It smells like fresh photocopies and regret from 8th grade talent shows. Your childhood goldfish circles past, fill I, looking judgier in the afterlife. Silence here has texture, velvet batting from a piano's innards. A chandelier materializes, its crystals forged from Marie Antoinette's snorted powdered sugar. Quirky tidbit, Victorian doctors prescribed aerated croquet for lung ailments, whacking balls while reciting Whitman. Your ribs ache just thinking about it. Shapes coalesce, a carousel horse grafted to a steam engine, a typewriter sprouting dandelion fluff, times operating system glitches, file extensions like moment and almost flicker in the periphery. Your shadow detaches off to unionize against EXIST, ENT, IAL, Chinese letter. A desk appears carved from the Berlin walls, stage 4 carcinogens. On it, a tome titled Breatharian Tax Evasion for Dummies. Flip a page. It's your kindergarten report card, annotated by Voltaire. His handwriting loops with caffeinated fury. Toddler, you showed promise. Then came glitter glue. Light bleeds in, not sunlight, more like YouTube's buffering circle, made radiant. Your lungs contract, the instinct to breathe, now as useless as screen doors on submarines. Scholars still debate if ancient incense maestros curated temple scents for devotion, or to cover up bull sacrifice, BO. Memories float by, unspooling like VHS tapes left in an attic microwave. There's your first bike crash, your college all-nighter drafting poetry about CVS receipts. That Tuesday, you almost adopted a paranoid iguana. Each shimmers, then dissolves into background radiation. Something tugs your navel, a metaphysical bungee cord plucked by jazz hands. You're yanked upward or downward, or through a Klein bottle's gag reflex. Colors taste different here. Regret is maroon with hints of expired kombucha. Forgot to check the void's Yelp reviews, a vibration not sound, but the concept of yodel distilled into subatomic waves. It reshapes the non-air, forming a sofa upholstered with Nixon's unsent apology letters. Sit carefully. One cushion wheezes the chorus of Let It Be in Tagalog. Your eyelids flutter, a reflex as pointless as sunscreen at midnight. When they reopen, you're everywhere and ISBN numbers. A fleeting moment captured in library Dewey Decimals. Did Sartre predict this during his morning croissant binge? Existentialism's fine print never mentions gravity's dental plan. A crack splits the void, not a tear, more like reality's zipper stuck on excuses. Through it, glimpses of yesterday's rainstorm, Cleopatra's third favorite wig, waiting room fern from your dentist's office. Breathe, except you still can't. So just mentally bookmark the fern for later. Pressure builds, not in your ears, in your soul's version of ears. The threshold spits you out molten and remade onto a floor that feels like suppressed sneezes. Air floods back, your first gasp echoing through eras. Caesar hears it as war drums. Your mom hears it as a missed curfew. Silence resettles, a cat burglar replacing stolen tranquility. Somewhere, Phil I burps a bubble of relativistic disapproval. The void winks out, leaving only a phantom itch where your 7th grade insecurities used to roost. Darkness softens, not sleep, the kind of dark that hums lullabies in Fibonacci sequence. Your hand finds solid matter, cool and familiar, as a textbook left in autumn grass. Dawn licks the horizon, but that's tomorrow's script to vandalize. Wing beats slow, each stroke now dripping honey thick through the molasses air. Stars unravel, their sharp edges softening into dawn's peach fuzz yawn. Below, Olympus shrinks, a child's clay model left on heaven's windowsill. Your fingers flex, still buzzing with the ghost of Pegasus' mane. Historians note Heraclitus wept at sunset, but never mentioned how morning light laughs in broken mosaics. Hooves dimple the clouds, each imprint blooming into cirrus flowers. One drifts down, tickling your nose like a feather from God's own pillow. Quirky tidbit. Byzantine dream interpreters analyzed horse manure ash for prophecy. Bet their coffee breaks were fragrant. The last constellation winks out Orion's belt buckle, catching on a stray sunbeam. Ground approaches, but not the suck your soul kind. Your mattress greets you like a diplomat returning from Narnia. Sheets tangle cool as river silk stolen from nymph laundry lines. That mythic altitude lingers in your sinuses, a cocktail of ozone and ambrosia-spiked kombucha. Scholars still debate whether ancient lullabies were coded star maps, or moms just really liked rhyming moon with spoon. Pegasus. Shadow melts, first the wings, then the muzzle, until only horseshoe echoes remain. Your palm finds something lumpy buried beneath the pillow. Not a tooth, not cash. A carved stone sigil warm as fresh-baked bread. Its symbols squirm, part Greek, part WhatsApp emoji. Morning birds argue outside, sparrows debating your night's authenticity. One tweets a meme-ready chirp, flatulent and judgmental. Your ceiling cracks. No, just sleep's glitter clinging to eyelashes. That burning all-night light bulb, finally dead, its filament sighing like a retired opera diva. Breathe deep laundry detergent and the musk of unread library books. The mythic fades, but lingers in peripheral vision, a dream splash watermark. Your clock blinks 7 a.m., rude reminder that time exists here. Someone's car alarm howls, a mechanized Cerberus guarding suburbia's gates. Stretch your spine crackling like pop rocks in cola. Toes brush crumpled sheets, the texture of rewritten grocery lists. There's a taste, stolen cloud stuff, or mouthwash evaporating its lies. That stone sigil pulses, 3 quick beats, matching yesterday's forgotten song. Dawn proper arrives, prying through blinds with the subtlety of a toddler Jedi. You squint, half expecting winged shapes in the sunbeams. Instead, dust motes. Always dust motes. They swirl into temporary constellations, your own private Ptolemy show. The pillow's hollow cradles a warmth, not body heat, more like summer sidewalks after twilight. You press a palm there, feeling the faintest thrum, new myths incubating or indigestion. Let's go with myths. Traffic noises creep in, engines grumbling through 8-second enlightenment cycles. Birds switch to post-punk rhythms, all angular squawks and existential malaise. Your phone buzzes, a text from reality. You up, ignore it. The stone sigil glows brighter, thrumming with the patience of monastic Wi-Fi. Shower steam rises, a miniature cyclone over the bathroom tiles. You half expect it to form Pegasus face, but it's just steam. Always just steam. Towels feel heavier, waterlogged with what-if molecules. Breakfast cereal clatters, a symphony conducted by sleep-deprived hands. The milk swirls, creating galactic arms in your spoon. 7 raisins orbit a Cheerio sun, until you wreck astrophysics with one crunch. Outside, a plane scratches the sky. Contrail or Icarus 2-0. Too bright to tell. Your shadow stretches long, still shaped like wings for 3 more minutes. The stone sigil cools, its carvings fossilizing into unreadable shrugs. Mornings win. They always do. But beneath the pillow in the lint and lost bobby pins, something hums. Not a phone, not a heartbeat. The sound of hooves, galloping on the edge of maybe. Wing beats fade, each echo dissolving into the hush of spent thunder. The air grows weightless, a soap bubble trembling on the lip of dawn. Your eyelids dip, curtains lowering on a theater of floating cities and talking stars. Sheets embrace you, chilled not by night, but by the absence of wings. Pegasus, final sigh lingers, a vibration humming through your collarbone. That stone sigil nestles warm, a secret handshake from the dream realm. Its carvings breathe, etching constellations into your palm's creases. Historians' dusty arguments matter less now. You've licked moonlight off cloud whiskers. Streetlights blink off, one by one, like fireflies retreating from the sun's yawn. Your alarm clock's glare softens, muted by the chiffon of half-sleep. Breathe in laundry soap and the faintest hint of charred lightning. Somewhere a car door slams, its thunk translated through dream logic. Hoof meeting cumulus. The pillow's warmth matures, radiating July pavement memories and kitten naps. Your toes curl, not fleeing reality, just testing its texture. Solid ground has merits, non-negotiable coffee, reliably non-sentient shower curtains. But beneath the bedskirt, a single cirrus thread glows, harmless as a cobweb. Dawn's fingers pry gently here, no rush to declare victories. Let astronomers chart their cold planets. You've ridden Comet Monets. Let scholars debate You've tasted the glue holding myths together. Your clock bleats again. Ignore it. Time stretches lazy, a cat in a windowsill. That sigil's pulse slows, syncing with your heartbeat's tired waltz. Symbols still squirm, a lightning bolt arm wrestling a peace sign. You smile, recognizing the language. Not ancient Greek, not emoji, just alive. Birds sing louder now, mocking your human need for plot resolution. Let them chatter. Your spine melts, merging with the mattress's cottony gravity. One last breath, filtered through galaxies caught in the AC vent. The world whispers its truth as you sink. Every dream leaves stains and seeds. Sleep's tide retreats, but carries back seashells in its pockets. Your fist tightens around the stone, now cool and ordinary. Almost. Somewhere beyond snores and dripping faucets, hooves tap dance on vapor. Morning winds. It always does, but deep in the clutter between loose change and hair ties, magic snoozes. Patient, hungry, ready to gallop when you shut your eyes. Word count 300.